gets dark. The DemonPeaks podcast, the dirtiest place outside of the Roadhouse, and the only podcast on the entirety of the internet to hear about Twin Peaks. You know, the people that do other podcasts, they barely mention us. We're not part of their group. They're a little clique. They're a cool clique.
I don't think we've done it. I don't think we've done enough yet, man.
And we're cooler than them. They can go fuck themselves, all of them. Every single one of them.
Pretty fucking cool, man. I love those guys and gals.
Jealous. They think that we're going to take up the dominate the people that are watching them. Because they're all dry and boring, you know what I mean?
That's not happening, man.
Bunch of ladies and
nobody wants to tune into our conversations. What are you talking about?
People love them.
Okay. I can't wait to hear about your next genitalia scar.
Well, okay. Well, today I have something better. You know what? We bring color to it. We bring color to it. What are they talking about? Twin Peaks. They can't talk about Twin Peaks all the time. Everybody's fucking talking about Twin Peaks. We're talking about.
Hey, what are we talking about today? What are we talking about today?
Yeah. Why are you blowing me up? Okay, I am DemonPeaks, Sean. This is GothPeaks. Adam, say hello, Adam.
Hey, hi.
On today's show, we're going to talk about Twin Peaks, season 1, episode 4.
Or.
What's the name of the episode?
Not 5, 3 point.
No, you could say it's 5, but it's fucking not 5. I mean, we're doing this, and I get so fucking. It's so sick of hearing it. It's the One-Armed Man is the name of the episode. Mm-hmm. Before we begin, I want to give a shout out to the people who did our opening song. Lula is in Trouble. Song is Midnight Coffee. Find them on Instagram. If you are on the YouTubes, our logo and artwork were done by Corvid Days. Find them on Etsy. They do amazing work. The show opening was done by Adam himself, and it was very good. I say this every week. Great job. Like the Frank in there. We're on other stuff. I don't know about all that other stuff. It's frustrating.
I think we're basically putting our focus on the YouTube.
The YouTube is where we're at. I can monetize better on YouTube. If you're listening to this, hit subscribe because fuck you. That's why. Hit it. I know you listen to it. That's not how you do it. That's not how you do it. God damn it. How many YouTube channels have you subscribed to that you don't listen to? There's a billion. Everybody has a billion of them. So add this to your list of shit you're not listening to, you cocksuckers. Of course,
guys, he doesn't mean it. I mean, if they subscribe, they won't be cocksuckers, and they're still not cocksuckers if they decide
Adam
to
will come to your house and suck your cock. He loves sucking cock. So if you subscribe, you won't be the cocksucker. He'll be the cocksucker.
I won't be eager. I won't be eager.
It doesn't mean he'll do it though. He don't gotta be eager. He'll press your fucking bristles up to his nose the way he'll deep throat the monster. No, for the ladies, conolingus is also available, but I'll be doing that. Please check out our Instagrams. That's what this whole thing is for. DemonPeaks, GothPeaks. Let's start out today. We're supposed to have Wholesome Peaks on again, but she has to take her medication so she's not racist. She take her racist medication. So she stops denying the Holocaust. That's so she takes it early. Then she falls asleep, dreaming of an Aryan
she does
nation.
Take her medication though.
Yeah, well, thank God she does, because she'd be running around in a white hood if she didn't.
No, I'm saying, are you sure that's what happens when she doesn't take it? I think it's her medication that's doing it. Maybe she needs to get off.
She thinks there's some sort of medication that makes you a crazy. You know what? I wouldn't be fucking surprised at this point, would you?
There is an example that people can bring up, but I don't think it's a valid example.
I don't know.
I
know
the Roseanne thing.
Oh, she took medication, maybe love Trump or something. Like, what the fuck are you talking about? Like,
it's something else.
Yeah, yeah. Then she was what'd she call that young lady, a ape or a monkey or something? really derogatory, really awful. Way out of
Well, I
line.
mean, did you see her hair? She looked like the girl from Planet of the Apes. She had
Oh, did she?
the,
Was
the slick back hair.
that the joke? That she was
That was the
trying to
thing
make?
that she actually looked like
Oh,
that
okay.
person.
I
And then
didn't. I
there was
didn't.
a crazy meltdown interview that fucking cracks me up every time because I think she's like smoking a cigarette as she's in the interview, but she's like, "I thought the bitch was white. I thought she was white."
You know, I want to say this. Roseanne's notoriously like mentally unstable, like to begin with.
She has an
Notoriously.
amazing story, dude.
Yeah, she's
Her
an interesting
story is
person.
fucking
Yeah.
wild.
And
Yeah.
she is funny. She used to be really funny. I don't know
She's
anymore
hilarious.
if she's still funny. She's pretty much a guy with how funny she is. You know,
So you're saying only guys are funny?
I'm saying
You
they're funnier
sexist
than
fuck.
most broads.
Oh shit. Well, I guess we're not getting any of the subscribers. Great.
Gonna get it. Hey, we skew heavily to the men. They don't give a shit what we have to say. Ladies aren't listening to this. The only ladies that are listening to this are furiously masturbating right now. Episode took
You sound so fucking sure.
I could name a couple. Episode 4, Twin Peaks, The One-Armed Man, directed by Tim Hunter and written by Robert Ingalls. Tim Hunter worked on lots of shows, from this to American Horror Story to Riverdale to Gotham. Not a lot of good there. No, I can't hear you again. What's happening?
I like
I
everything but Riverdale.
I can hear you. You're fine.
Okay.
Not a lot of good there. All of those shows suck. It's terrible. He did some.
The one I haven't seen was Riverdale, and I liked all the other ones.
You like
To a certain
Gotham?
point. I liked
Stupid.
the first season. I enjoyed it though.
I think when they introduced the Riddler, as I watched the first couple episodes, and they were like, "This is Edward Nygma," and he's like, "I do riddles," and I'm like, "You fucking stupid, fucking get it." He did some Hannibal, which was a good show. There's Hannibal. You're cutting in and out.
Too.
And Robert Ingalls became a kind of David Lynch right-hand man for a bit. He wrote Fire Walk with Me, lots of Twin Peaks, and On the Air, the previous David Lynch show that was not very good. He worked on Sequest and Andromeda, some low-budget sci-fi there. And nobody watched them. They were on at like 4 a.m. on Channel 10 or something. Came off an episode after an episode of some intense weirdness, while the last episode, while it had some humor, was into more of a soap opera, which it is. We talked about this, but for you, were you disappointed you got no Lynchian nonsense? We mentioned that, but do you think a Twin Peaks is a soap opera? Is the question I have. Do you think it's a soap opera? That's a debate.
In a complicated way, yeah. Yes and no.
There's an open debate you've seen in the community that some people are like, yes, it's a soap opera. Some are like, no, it's a pistache of a soap opera.
Yeah, they have, a lot of people have their clear-cut definition of what it's supposed to be, but I mean,
I think of a soap opera, I think of them as episodic drama shows. That's what I think of a soap opera, and Twin Peaks is definitely episodic drama show with a high drama in it. And you know, a lot of
it's self-aware in a way. I mean, it has a meta aspect, but it's not full on to the point where it's a parody. It's a slight, almost parody.
I don't know if it's a parody at all, because it leans into
it might not be
tropes
but maybe I think it's anytime I see something that's meta or self-aware, it kind of strikes as a parody to me, but maybe I just need to get that kind of thinking out of my head.
I think people associate soap opera with a bad thing, like in their head, because there's so much. But I don't think that means that. I mean, and those shows get fucking ridiculous. General Hospital and Days of Our Lives. There's clones and twins and aliens.
Yeah, those are shows people would call like a bad show, kind of like.
Are they bad? I mean, I don't really. I remember watching them as a kid with like my grandma, and I don't remember them being particularly.
I suppose bad is being associated with like maybe the overacting and the cheesy lines, perhaps, or the cheesy writing at times.
I think it's a type of vaudeville. You know, you go over the top. I like that.
Yeah, it's cool. It works for Twin Peaks, absolutely.
Yeah. And those people muscle through those episodes. They put out like a fucking 300 episodes a year, you know?
Yeah.
They do it every day. They're on set every fucking day. They were talking about to Jensen Ackles. Is that his name? The guy from Supernatural?
Yeah.
He was on some soap opera, and he was talking about it was grueling. It was harder than Supernatural because
they're just always filming. They're always on set.
Yeah, they do like a 24-hour, like a 12-hour cycle every day. And it's like, Jesus Christ. He said Supernatural was a lot easier because, you know.
Wasn't the girl that played the one that passed away, the one that played Teresa Banks. Wasn't she on the soap opera?
Yeah, and she was in a couple of different shows that I actually liked. I have a strange story about Teresa Banks. So there's a picture in Fire Walk with Me that Chet Desmond looks at, where she's smoking a cigarette, wearing a white T-shirt with her short hair. You know what I'm talking about?
I think I know what you're talking
She
about.
is
Yeah.
a spitting image. The first time I saw this Fire Walk with Me was with a girl I dated named Tara, and she looked exactly the same as Teresa Banks, to a T. She was
Crazy.
even when we were watching, she was wearing a white T-shirt.
And the name's not too far off either.
No, and I forget where last. I think her last name was L or something. I don't know, but I was like, holy shit, dude!
It was
just
Wells.
Like I was like, you look just like fucking Teresa Banks. She's like, yeah, I know. If I used to call her after that, I'm like,
her last name was Wells, like some kind of bank name. Some
I don't know what
branch.
I think it was Livingston.
That has to be a bank called Livingston.
There was a Dr. Livingston, I presume. The old, that doesn't matter. So let's get into the. I always separate these as beginning, middle, and ends, and for arbitrary, 15-minute increments. So you see the Bob sketch for the first time, the famous one, and Maddie is doing what she's good at, serving drinks and not having any dialogue. Andy is an artist here, and that's a plot point I would have liked to see explored. He does a hell of a job on the Bob sketch.
He would have had one hell of a career as an artist.
Yeah, they don't get into the art of Andy, and I would have. There's a book to publish, Mark Frost. Get on it, The Art of Andy. Oh, you're putting out a bunch of crap that David Lynch doesn't fucking look at.
Which I still haven't read.
You know, you don't even need to, because it's most of it's not even there anymore.
Well, I want to.
It's, you know what, the first book, whatever the first book's called, there's like this 100 pages of like Lewis and Clark stuff, and I didn't care about Lewis and Clark in 5th grade. I don't give a shit about them now.
Was it like the history of Twin Peaks or something like that?
Yeah, and it's okay. It's overrated. The final dossier is much more interesting, and even that's only pretty good. I think the Leo revelation in that was the most disappointing thing, but you know, whatever. Leo thinks Sarah's full of shit, seeing ghosts and goblins and whatnot. Of course he would. I want to point out Sarah is wearing a dressing gown, and she's still wearing her high heels because she's a classy lady. That she has to appear classy to everyone, despite all the horror in her life.
Yeah.
We talk about the fucking necklace again, which still is not important. And we get some invitational love where we see Chet getting on with Emerald and Jade. What a stud Chet is.
I always love that it's a little callback to not callback because it hasn't happened yet. The movie hasn't come out yet, but Chet Desmond.
Chet Desmond, that's right. Yeah. I wish we saw Chet Desmond again.
Yeah, it was so blue balls. So it's
biggest missed opportunity in the show, right there. Chet Desmond.
We could have done a lot more. Yeah. But, I mean, he was so good with what he did.
I hate to say it because he could have replaced Tammy, and no, it wouldn't have missed anything. It wouldn't have changed the show at all.
I like Tammy though.
I didn't say I didn't like her.
I know a lot of people.
I didn't say I didn't like her. I said she could have replaced her.
A lot of people don't like Tammy.
She was fine. She ultimately was totally useless in every regard. But that's what I mean. Chet Desmond could have replaced her, and no one would have even blinked an eye because it wouldn't have been any different.
More fans would have been happy, I'm sure.
Yeah, but I think Christabel did a fine job.
Oh yeah, she's awesome, and her music is killer. Which I'm sure.
Yeah, she's a good musician. This is not an insight to her acting or her ability or even the character. I'm merely pointing out that she could have easily been replaced by Chet Desmond, and I don't think anybody would have really cared. We go to the police station. Lucy reminds me of Kelly from The Office here, because they come in and they ask her how she's doing, and she starts talking about what's on TV. And there was a scene in there where Jim asks her how she's doing, and she tells him what's going on TV. I remember
maybe they were thinking about Lucy when they.
It just reminded me a lot of that scene. I'm not like a big Office fan. As soon as I heard that, I was like, oh, I remember that other one. You know.
Yeah, Office vibes.
Office is fine. It's whatever. Jacoby does some magic tricks. Cooper is talking to him. Cooper is not amused by this level of chicanery.
Yeah, and he just keeps doing it over and over. Like maybe he'll like it the second time if I do.
He's just staring at him. He's just like. He claims. Okay, so Dr. Jacoby claims doctor-patient confidentiality, but Laura was underage, and dead, her parents can consent to any and all of her medical records being released.
Writers doesn't think about that, I suppose.
Well, you think an FBI guy would be like, oh, well, we were, and they would literally, the cops are at the Palmer's house.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, can I talk to Leland? Yeah, hey, Leland, you're a lawyer. Can we look at your daughter's medical records? Sure thing. Done.
That's simple.
Fucking 2 seconds. So I don't know
what kind of think of that.
Yeah, what kind of bullshit. He's like, Dr. Page, she's dead and she was underage. You don't have it. that's neither here nor there. He really doesn't have anything that he knows anyways.
Yeah, nothing.
And he's not presented as after last episode as a guilty party. The whole the
kind of weird.
The cemetery scene sort of ruled him out for being a guy that did anything. He does have a great line. The problems of our entire society is of a sexual nature. So that's it goes back to the Freud there. It's not the Carl Jung method, but the Freud method, and that's what he seems like he sticks with, because he's also trying to bang his patients.
I'm glad you said that the Freud thing, because like you should, let's try to dissect that. The whole problems of the world is of a sexual nature.
I think that there's some. I'm not a big Freud fan. I think he oversimplified mental illness into a sexual degree. Not that he was wrong, because definitely sex is a big problem with people in the world. But I think there's more. I think there's more than that. And of course, so did he. We're simplifying also his work as well in saying that.
You ever think that he's like, it relates to the whole Oedipus thing as something during that time when you feel strongly towards your mother?
We're taking Oedipus as the loose idea of having your mother being the biggest female influence on you is what I'll take that as to me, not the sexual part of it necessarily, right?
Well, I mean, I think it's I'm forgetting to mention something else, some kind of other thought that I'm putting into it too. But during that time when your mother's really shaping your form of what you're looking for in a, I suppose, in a woman. I would say
as what you would consider. I mean, we're tribalistic people. Human beings are tribalistic, so we gravitate towards our tribe, and our tribe, the head of our tribe is the mother. You know what I mean? That's who gave birth to us. So you find that as the first thing. First thing is mother. You know what I mean? And
I thought because I feel like I've heard something about some people's sexual tendencies or sexual preferences are sometimes largely shaped during that time too, when it manifests as something when they're older.
I'll agree with that too. Like I said, you look at your mother and that defines your understanding of what a woman is in a lot of ways. And so those will obviously cross over into a sexual, maybe not sexualized your mother, but things that you may look for in a partner. You may think, oh, my mother's this kind of woman, and that's the kind of woman you tend to gravitate towards inherently. And women do the same thing with their father, because this is the man that is the first man in your life. You know what I mean? And we're speaking strictly in heteronormative.
This is all, super generalized. I mean,
super generalized. As a homosexual, you would still do the same thing, just in a different kind of way. But speaking in a very, very general, very, very vague sense, I think that it is absolutely impossible to discount that you are influenced by your parents or whoever raised you, whatever be the capacity, in terms of what you then either look for or don't look for in a partner. You know what I mean? Like, I really hated my mom did X. You might then never look for a woman who does that, or that turns you off. I think he's right in the terms of your parents are going to shape, the people around you are going to shape your sexual preferences, and that could be a negative thing, especially nowadays where we have a lot of sexual conflict in society. And we're not gonna get into that here for obvious reasons, but I think there's some merit to that. I think there's some merit to Freud. I think there's some merit to the nature of it. It's impossible to say that sex isn't a problem or a issue, because it very much is. So
didn't mean to stray too far off from that. So
no, I think it's good to explore those kinds of things. I think that's what we're here for, to talk about whatever the fuck we want to talk about, and that's what we got. He then talks about Hawaii.
Hawaii.
Yeah. And he's a bad psychiatrist.
Oh yeah.
What does
It's
he say?
awful.
The fact that she was using cocaine is a good thing. I don't think so. He then says that he admits that he was a failure and that Bobby and James were boys and Laura was a woman. She wasn't a woman, buddy.
No.
Yeah.
It helps him to see her that way.
Yeah, because he had sex with her. It helps to.
Well, I don't know, man. He said he couldn't penetrate.
He did say that.
So I don't know.
And when Cooper flat out asked, he's like, Laura banged 3 dudes that night, which he shouldn't be giving away that level of information. And were you one of them? And he's like, no, I didn't pin cushion Laura.
Unfortunately, no.
Yeah, no thanks, buddy. I was over jacking off to her voice in a coconut, keeping the semen in the coconut or whatever the fuck he does.
Jacking off into the coconut water.
Yeah, do you like coconut water? I find it repugnant.
I don't mind it. It's got electrolytes.
Those are things plants love. Electrolytes. And then we get to, they're like Jacoby doesn't know that Leo Johnson drives a red Corvette. There are fucking 50 people in this town. Did you know who Leo Johnson is?
Yeah.
He was like, I saw a guy in a red Corvette. I wonder who that could be.
Yeah, I don't know how many red Corvettes are in Twin Peaks.
1. There's approximately 1.
Yeah.
And then we get the first appearance, voice of one Mr. Gordon Cole.
Yeah.
He's not yelling. He's not even particularly loud. So that's a later.
Not really.
We'll see that.
Still, voice is a little elevated.
He's talking on a speakerphone.
A little projected.
I mean, that's impossible not to.
But just the tone, you can definitely tell that if you're in the room with him, it would be a little bit louder.
Yeah, but not quite the shouting we get later. I think that's a later trait.
That's true.
Mr. David Lynch. And then we get to, they talk about the Albert thing about getting Harry in trouble. And that sort of peters out after this, the Harry conflict. You know what I mean? It doesn't really go anywhere. Yeah. Coop puts up a good fight about it. I'm going to fight you to the government. You know what I mean? He's not going to have it. So that's pretty much the end of the Cooper, Albert, Harry conflict.
Yeah, I mean, he really cared a lot about showing Harry the respect, you know.
Yes, it was nice.
That meant a lot to him.
Yes,
so.
It was a nice bonding scene for them. As Harry said, he was stressing out. He was puking and shitting and whatever you do when you're stressed out.
But yeah, no, it was cool to see him take unneeded accountability for Albert. You know,
absolutely. I mean, he's in some ways right. I think Albert was a dick, but I also think physically assaulting him was probably not a good idea.
No, definitely not. Once you do that, you pretty much lost.
Yeah, I mean, that's what I think Albert has the right.
In reality, at least.
Has the right to be upset about being punched in the mush, you know. We learned that Coop saw Bob as well, which we already knew. And I'll be honest with you, it seems like a waste of resources. They got her to get a fictional guy from a dream drawn up on a poster to put around to ask people, have you seen this guy in your dreams? It's like that guy with the little guy. Everybody's seen this guy in his dream. You know what I'm talking about? Those posters. Just to see them all the time. Like a guy with like a weird, looks like Gilbert Gottfried. I used to hang up all the time. He's like, you've seen this guy in your dream. Thousands of people every day dream about this guy. So they're printing up, so they're wasting money to make prints of a guy that no one has ever fucking actually seen.
For a good shirt outside the show.
Makes a great shirt. It makes a great product. And it makes a great visual. And it makes a great everything. So that's why I always have this one slide. I just want to point out he's literally having them waste their time making posters for a guy that doesn't exist.
You're not wrong, but we forgive it.
We then move to the Timber Falls Motel, where we see young Josie Packard. She's taking pictures of nothing because Ben and Catherine's shutters are closed. So she's just taking pictures of the front of the fucking building.
They're behind there.
And she's like out of her car. Like, and
super obvious with the big old camera, right?
And they point out, Hawk points out later, it was Josie Packard. I used my Indian senses. You could fucking see her.
Indian senses, you fuck.
Yeah, that's what he acts like, though. Like he used his tracking to see a woman hanging out of her. Okay, all right, we get it. He can track stuff. I got you. Thank you. And we have it's like Catherine and Ben there, and they're arch. They're very arch in this.
Mm-hmm.
They're literally like conniving and scheming, and it's very, she calls Pete the poodle, which I rather like.
I like that.
And they're definitely having some marathon lovemaking sessions.
Oh yeah, I mean, if they're staying in
screwing in
the hotel room, and Catherine Sarah's all lovely messed up.
And they're gonna burn down the mill.
Yep.
That's what their plans are. And the other cops are there. And you know what I like about that is Ben and Catherine are not even fucking sweating that the cops are there. They don't even care.
Gunplay sounds serious.
Yeah, like they could not give two shits. Like, so this is obviously how they feel about the cops in Twin Peaks.
Oh yeah, they know they're incompetent. They're not good.
Because there's a level of incompetence like that. The two evil people are scheming something evil, and they're still like, whatever, cops are here. We don't even give a shit.
Andy's a dumbass, and fucking Harry's stoned. Only competent one is Hawk.
Yeah, and Hawk doesn't seem to give two shits about what's going on, really.
Yeah, no, he doesn't give a fuck.
Yeah, he's getting some of Jerry's weed.
He's just waiting to see Diane Shapiro again.
Yeah, good woman, Diane Shapiro. We're gonna get to her today. We're gonna get to her today.
Oh yeah.
Andy drops the gun, and I hate that they show the gun because you see it's fake because it breaks.
Oh, I need to watch that again because I never actually paid attention to that.
I wish they didn't show that just because it's like a really clear break. Like it's really clear that it's not a real gun. It's kind of funny. And I gotta say,
what?
Why did they pull their guns?
Oh.
Mike wasn't wanted for anything. He didn't do anything. They want to talk to him.
He wanted an excuse to.
Like this is like LAPD level of fucking nonsense. Thank God Mike's not black. They'd have fucking shot him to death. Like, you know what I mean? Hey,
I have to say though, when the gun went off, please tell me you saw Dale with that 360.
Oh, he does a spin.
Yeah,
he's like, oh shucks, and he does a spin. He's like, damn it, Andy. It's like something out of the Andy Griffith show. You know what I mean? Like
he's like doing a spin around to make sure he didn't shoot anybody.
He does a full spin. It was great, yeah. Because Andy's like, oh, when Dale's spinning around.
It's like one of the funniest parts in that. That part was already hilarious, but then seeing that like a point 2 seconds after.
Oh, it was brilliant. It was brilliant. It was. I hope it was a decision by Kyle MacLachlan to just go for it. I'm gonna do.
Well, there was something else that was a decision of his in this episode. That's gonna happen.
We'll get to that. We'll get to that. Yeah. So they pull the guns on Mike for reasons that are unknown. This poor guy is getting out of the shower. He hears guys banging on. These guys are shooting at his door. They're banging on his door. They got guns on him. We then go back to Ben and Catherine with a little Elvis joke that I still don't know what the fuck it means. And the guy who plays Ben, I forget his name, didn't know what it meant either. He's like, I don't know. I didn't get the joke either.
The only thing I think of, and I don't know why, it just makes sense in my head, is that it belonged to him when he was a kid. And like he's still, that's like a childhood weird.
Does he put the Elvis on his penis? What is it? Is it a clean?
I don't know what he does with it. I don't know what he does with it. For all I know, he just shoves it up his ass and gets all shitty, and then he washes it. And he washes it on Elvis. So
you gotta get Elvis clean. There you go. Elvis was a disgusting person in real life. So Lord knows.
Tell me about it. He died in the toilet. That's pretty disgusting.
That's not disgusting. That's the healthiest way you can do it. Your bowel move. That's the best place to do it.
Oh yeah, you're right. That's like he's already said. You're right, because you do.
Yeah, fucking shit. Anyways, you might as well just be like, hey, look, flush, done. Cleanup's all done. You ever have to clean up a body? I think I told you about I had to clean up a body one time.
I think you told me that. Yeah, I remember you.
A friend of mine's stepdad shot himself in the head, and then they offered. They said we can send a cleanup crew, or you can clean it up, and we clean it. It's gross. So they take the body, but they leave the gore.
Yeah, you got to clean all that shit out. That's fucking ridiculous.
There's tile. We had to push down tile. Blood was coming up, wiping up the blood.
How do they not pay someone in the department to do that?
They didn't want to. You have to pay for it. I don't know.
That's when you got to call Sunshine Cleaning. That's a movie, I think, where like two sisters made a business of doing that.
Yeah. So, I remember that actually. Yeah, it was actually
a random movie. Yeah, sorry, I just thought of it.
Not a recent film either.
It's one of those like random middle of the road movies.
Yeah. that we like, that we enjoy. here.
We
at
like
the
those
GothPeaks
movies.
podcast. We're not like those other fancy Twin Peaks podcasts talk about fancy movies. We talk about hearty, salt of the earth films.
You know, one of my favorite things to see on the stuff that I post is comments about people not thinking about a thing the thing that I'm posting about. They haven't thought about that thing in forever.
Yeah.
And like you already know you're triggering some kind of nostalgia for them.
We got that a lot for the Gross Point Peaks thing. People
Yeah.
were like, I haven't watched this movie in years. And I hadn't watched the movie in years until we wanted to do a meme about it. It took 4 months, but we did it.
I know. from first mentioning it.
We're like, are you ready to do it? I'm like, I've been done for 3 months on these.
I'm huge on nostalgia, dude. I have a big sense of nostalgia in me.
I don't know if you've seen my room where I live at. I'm pretty big on nostalgia too.
You see, I have a bunch of memorabilia, right? Yeah, a bunch of shit.
Nothing wrong with that. We live in our own heads, you know. We're modern men. We're men with very little to live for besides family and things that we enjoy. You know, we're not allowed to own anything or have anything because that's the new life. So then Catherine finds a one-eyed Jack Chip, and she's surprised. Ben owns the place. So what are you surprised about?
Yeah, why are you surprised?
And she has to know that. Like, I don't think she doesn't know.
Does she think that's beneath him?
Like, oh yeah, he's definitely meeting at the Timber Falls Motel to fucking screw you in the asshole when he's fucking that.
He's watching a little Elvis. He's gonna go to one-eyed Jack's.
He's in there fucking spanking it, thinking about them dirty broads up north. So the cops are illegally holding a man hostage in a room based on a dream. This is why they are holding him hostage, based on an FBI man's dream. No reality. Mike has done nothing wrong.
A one-armed man.
Just a random one-armed guy. I know it's a throwback to the Fugitive TV show and movie. That's the gimmick, but still. Bob Lydecker and Mike were lovers. Do you think, now I have a question about this. This is actually something kind of interesting. Do you think Mr. Lydecker was possessed by a spirit too, the way Mike is? We never see him. They never get into.
We never see him. I don't know why I would think that.
Him and Mike were lovers, so he had to know something was wrong with Mike because Mike is constantly shooting up medication. Okay, we'll get into that later.
Wait, do they say that in the show?
Yeah, he says me and Bob Lydecker were lovers. I had a tattoo that said Bob.
Mom.
I said Bob.
Tattoo that says Mom.
I swear to God, all these years I thought he was saying Bob, like Bob Lydecker.
Were you just saying that hoping I'll catch it?
No, I genuinely thought he said Bob.
That's hilarious, dude.
All these years, because he goes, bah! And I was thinking they're talking about Bob Lydecker.
Well, it shows me you don't turn on closed caption.
I don't most of the time for Twin Peaks.
I'm part of the closed caption club. I can't hear shit.
I turn it on for everything else but Twin Peaks because I take it off because I do memes. So when I'm watching it and taking screenshots, I can't have the things on because I do my own captions for it. So it's the one thing I watch without the them on. And for all these,
but to your credit, that it is very plausible.
He seemed a bit. I don't know. He seemed like they were more than friends to me. I don't know. I always thought that. I don't know why.
Although I don't know why he would be crying when he says Bob. Oh, maybe because he's sad because
his friend's in the hospital.
Oh yeah, that's true.
That's why I put it together. My friend was beat up in the hospital. I assume it was a gay bash. That's what I assumed because they were lovers, and he's sad because his friend was in the hospital. Let's saying something. That's what
up outside a bar.
Yeah, I assume it was a gay bar. I just put I put it together in my head, but you can see where I got to the conclusion.
It's funny how we all find ways to make those connections, to make those things make sense.
I don't think that what I think is out of the realm.
No, it's not. I think it makes sense.
Now that I explained it, I think that
if I had if I made the same mistake you did, I would definitely think the same.
Because he's like, oh, Bob Lydecker he's the best. He also calls him like, oh, he's the best. Whatever. Podiatrist, whatever the fuck is around.
Best damn butt fucker in town.
Yeah, and so he's really excited about the guy's career. He's upset that he's in jail. He has a tattoo. I thought that said his name. I put it together. I was like, oh, they obviously got to be lovers. And I thought that was
Mom.
I thought it was reflective of him and Bob's relationship, of the arm and Bob's relationship.
Well, it's funny because I was hoping when you brought this up, we would be talking about that. So, well, since it says Mom.
Mom.
If it really said Mom, actually it doesn't. It says Fire. It said Fire Walk with Me.
Yeah,
right.
That's why it's the arm. Yeah.
Okay, but still, let's say it said mom, and just for funsies,
Go to
going into the
Go to
return.
Judy.
Yeah, that's what
Yeah.
I'm thinking. Like that's a little
Well,
fun
we
thing to play
don't.
with.
Here's the thing: we don't. Okay, so we know Bob's place in the hierarchy a little bit, a little bit.
Yeah, yeah. You
We
don't know
don't
Mike's
know
though.
because Mike. Okay, so Bob is Mike's familiar,
Mm.
but he's also a spirit. That's what's confused me. Philip Gerard is Mike is a spirit who has a familiar, and the familiar is Bob. That means that he had to, in some way, tame Bob or get Bob on his side. And I don't know what did that. We never find out what did that, but there's a lot of speculation we could get into. I think later we'll talk about another app because they're not even close to being near that sort of revelation stuff.
No,
But this is something that I would like to come back to at a later date.
Yeah, definitely.
The hierarchy of the there definitely is one in the level of powers that we see in the rooms and the lodges and who can do what and why they can do it.
You know that Mike would have to for sure be kind of lower on that.
He's going to be higher than
right?
Bob.
Well, yeah,
he can make
he's
topos.
between.
He can get people in and out. He can take them places. He can control other spirits. I mean, that's pretty powerful.
You're right. I think he's between Bob and the arm, right?
Well, I assume the arm is just an extension of him. So,
but the arm is it obeys something else, right? Something more evil.
I think that that's why he cut the arm off, because the arm was But the thing is, if you even look at Fire Walk with Me, when they talk, he touches Mike's shoulder.
That's why I was thinking about the hierarchy, about Mike being lower than the arm. Getting the arm, yeah, you're right, is an extension of Mike, but still seeing the arm as answering to a power that's higher than.
I always took the arm as a separate entity, like kind of doing its own thing. It just wants the pleasures that it can get from there. I didn't take it as it probably grew its own kind of power separate from Mike, but I don't know that it's necessarily higher on the hierarchy. I just think it's a different thing. You know what I mean? So it's kind of doing its own thing. It's kind of not really in the whole process because it's kind of just let go to do whatever it wanted to do.
Yeah.
Cause as much havoc, as it wants. It's like the Tim and Eric sketch where the midget punches that guy in the balls and then runs away.
Yes.
And okay, so they talk about he has he has all rights or whatever in the shoes. I want to talk about
samples.
I worked at a shoe store years ago, and so originally in the U.S. they had different places that were both. So you'd go to like J.C. Penney's and was right, and Sears would be left. People would just go steal one from that place, steal one from the other. So it's universally now it's left in the United States. Everywhere you go, there's a left shoe.
So they can't mix and match.
Yeah, they did like a thing. I think got together and was like, oh, it's and Canada is left as well. As a factoid for you, stealing shoes, just go to the back and steal them. I don't know. We then move to a very real high school appearance. These don't come very often, less and less frequent, and probably what might be the most famous high school scene: Audrey smoking in the bathroom with Dawn. There's no algebra in real life. She wants to run away and join. What Donna tells her to run away and join the circus.
Yeah, the circus.
This is the only time I like Donna is when she's being super catty with Audrey.
The exchange seems so real and genuine.
Oh yeah. Laura from Boyle is notoriously catty in real life, is what I've heard a number of times, and I think they should have let her really get that out in these.
Explore that with that character. Yeah,
let her be a bitch. Let her just.
They forced the innocence too much on her,
and she didn't like Sherilyn anyways.
Oh yeah. Why is there any reason for that?
I don't know. I'm not going to speculate on personal grievances between people, but she's the one who put the kibosh on the Cooper, supposedly.
Oh yeah.
Supposedly, or she was involved in some way. Supposedly, this is all speculation, based on hearsay and nonsense. But it's believable because we've heard from other movies that she's difficult to work with.
Yeah.
And even, later she was wouldn't come back for the movie. And we all saw Men in Black 2.
Yeah.
So I would have let that natural aggression that Laura Flynn Boyle has out. Let her be mean. Let her be a different. I would have liked the evolution of Donna to be from innocent to wearing sunglasses, from innocent to just being sick of everybody's bullshit. Like,
Yeah.
let her be mean. Let her tell James, dude, you fucking suck. Like, why is she letting this dude like run around and he's leaving and then he's banging old ladies and she's saving him? I'd be like, man, you can go eat shit.
Well, now that I'm thinking about Donna, I don't really see her being all that innocent with anybody else aside from James and her dad, actually.
She doesn't really interact with anybody besides from James and her dad.
Yeah, well, it's true, but now you can kind of make it make sense in your head that the cattiness that you saw with between her and Audrey, and the fact that you don't really see her interact with too many other people, you can kind of make it make sense in the way that okay, she's like head over heels over James for whatever reason,
yeah.
and her dad because Doc is a sweet guy.
He's a really sweet guy. She should have stuck with Snake. That's a gentleman right there.
Yeah. So I guess who's to say that she's not that catty with everybody else? If we were to see that,
you make a good point. You make a very fair point. The only other time we see her is later dealing with Nadine, who is suffering from a very terrible head injury.
What was their exchange like? I don't remember that.
Very, very cordial. She's because I think Nadine is mentally unwell.
And they know that.
He's catty to Mike a little bit, but that's I put that up for ex-girlfriend stuff and not just general we used to date kind of bullshit than anything else. You make a good point though. We don't really see her interact with too many people at all. And she may very well be. That's why her and Laura were friends. They were both fucking bitches. Which, I like.
That's one thing that if the network wasn't so obsessed with pushing the narrative on revealing who the killer was, they could have really explored all that stuff about having all these different interwoven storylines between all the characters and seeing these actors interact more with each other.
Give them some natural, because I think Laura Flynn Boyle is not a bad actress, and I think that they really didn't do anything with her.
No,
at all.
No. She was stuck. She was just stuck.
And they talk about Laura working at One Eye Jacks, and Donna mentions One Eye Jacks is a 1961 film starring Marlon Brando. Not a great film. It's pretty good. It was okay, but I liked that she was like, "Is that a Brando film?" Audrey wants to run away with Cooper, and she gets excited about Laura being a prostitute. She's like, "Oh, it's like when ice is on you and it burns you." She's really got a lot of talk about problems of a sexual nature.
Yeah. Like everything that she says just sounds like she's saying it with like sexual frustration.
Well, she is. Audrey is the most worked up human being I've ever seen on television. Like I've mentioned before, there's a puddle behind her when she fucking goes anywhere. It's like you know what I mean? Sopping is the word I would use.
She looks great in this scene, by the way.
Oh, she looks like an angel. You know what I mean?
Just a still shot of her with a cigarette and everything in her hair.
Yeah. I mentioned that I used to like women who smoked quite a bit. Very sexy. Did I mention that? I might probably mention that.
I find smoking cool and sexy. So
yeah. And I dated a girl one time, and she's like, "I want to quit smoking." I said, "Well, quit smoking." She's like, "Well, I smoke because you like it." And I said, you don't have to do that. Like. She's like, "Well, you think it's sexy?" I said, "I think you're sexy. Like, that's what's sexy is you doing it, not the smoking."
Yeah. I still haven't had a cigarette since I quit cold turkey, dude. That was like 4 or 5 years ago.
How was that for you?
It was hell, man. Because I told you I still miss it. I fucking still want a cigarette every fucking day, dude. Like, especially with my coffee. Especially with all
coffee and a cigarette, that gets your bowels, that gets your daily constitutional. You know what I mean?
It's perfect. I mean, I miss it, man. So that's why I'm just rolling more joints.
You may not believe this, but I'd never smoked cigarettes.
Really? Never been a smoker.
I'm not a weed smoker, really. Never. I don't really like to smoke a lot of stuff. I like to smoke crack, but that's about it.
Yeah. And you like the drink, right?
Well, yeah. I don't freebase my alcohol. I drink it.
What's are you drinking anything tonight?
Not yet. I'll be drinking after. I try to come into these sober, which is amazing because the way things I talk about, this is me sober, folks.
Yeah. I don't remember the last time I was that. Just kidding. No, I'm sober many times.
I'm going to mention this because I've mentioned I'm putting the secret of it out there. We did a Patreon thing that will never see the light of day. I'm telling people this.
Yeah.
It was me and him watching the Royal Rumble 2001, and we get drunk, and it was 6 hours of just absolute fucking nonsense. And it is we are not privy for any human being to ever watch this tape. It's an indictment. If we ever run for office, this will be used against us.
Yeah, it's not happening.
I have it, and I'm never going to let anybody see it, and that's it. And we'll be doing a Patreon eventually, and we will maybe be reviewing the Royal Rumble 2001 again, and
in a more normal state.
Maybe more. We could drink a little bit, but we may want to hold off the 6 hours of drinking.
We're just gonna have some wine and keep it relaxed.
Let's do wine and wrestling. WNW.
Wine, yeah.
That's a good idea. I actually like that idea. I'm not kidding.
Wine and wrestling.
Wine and wrestling.
Wine and wrestling.
Think about it. Think about it. Okay,
I'm down for it already.
No one will ever see this 6 hours. It goes strange. We're talking about all kinds of weird stuff. It gets a little racist. It gets a little strange. It gets a little. We both break into tears.
Oh my God, we definitely broke into tears. You fucking broke my heart, man.
Okay,
so I remember that.
We get more indictment of one Mr. Ben Horn, the perfume counter. Ben seems definitely like suspect number one. And Audrey is going to burn down the damn school with her antics, throwing her cigarettes, cattywampus.
Dude, I always hated when people were careless with their cigarette butts.
Throw it in the toilet. Throw it in the toilet.
Yeah,
next to it.
Exactly. Like, why not? Or like wet it with the sink and then throw it in the trash or something.
Just whatever. Fucking put it in water. It's a cigarette.
Exactly. Put it out.
Then we meet Hank Jennings for the first time. And we talked about last episode, Hank killed a transient. They get into that here. He killed a homeless fella. And I definitely think it was on purpose. I mentioned this. You weren't so sure. Did your opinions change after watching this episode?
Well, I think my opinions change after hearing your thoughts on it, because you said I can't remember if you mentioned that if you felt maybe the transient was working
for somebody or someone that he had worked with. I think maybe it was somebody he had worked with the Andrew Packard thing, and it was a loose end, or there's a billion reasons why he could have killed the guy.
A loose end who got screwed over and being homeless and all that shit. Okay, I think after hearing you say that stuff, it made me kind of think of it that way too. So
they only say he's a transient because he doesn't have any paperwork on him, but maybe he was a hitman who had a false paperwork, or maybe he, and he
cleaned up very well.
Like transient just means you don't have you're homeless, but that doesn't mean that it's not a person that isn't hiding who he was. Yeah. There's a billion reasons so I definitely think Hank did it. And Hank has I would call a rapist charm to
him. Yeah, rapist domino charm.
Yeah, he's like, what do they talk about? He's like a date rapist, not a regular one, because he can get it.
Oh yeah, well that's great. You got to have a lot more charm than a
lot more charm to get a date. That's what Hank reminds me of. It doesn't like that exact line when I see Hank, because he's very charming.
I'm sorry, I missed your joke when you mentioned it the first time. He's charming.
He's got he's very charming guy.
The Norm joke.
He's very charming, but he's definitely got a edge to him. There's a hard edge on him.
Rest in peace, Norm. Rest in peace, Bob Saget. Sorry,
Norm. We lost a couple people. Norm Macdonald, one of my biggest influences, I would say, ever. Honestly,
he's one of my favorite comedy guys, man.
Yeah, if you've listened to my conversation is obviously I was influenced by Norm. Same level of conversation. And Bob Saget, I love Bob Saget, man. He was America's dad, and
as a kid growing up with him, with Full House and America's Funniest Home Videos, that's great and all. That's fantastic. I love that he was part of my childhood in that sense. But seeing his fucking stand up was actually
filthy. He's
he
a
was
filthy man.
filthy, and he was hilarious. His shit was really funny.
I want to expand on
And
that because as soon as he died, people started being like, "Oh, he's a pedophile," but he was so they base it on he made so the Olsen kids couldn't be at the readings for the scripts for the Full House, so they put a doll in his place, and he would make jokes about the doll. He wasn't making
I
jokes
know.
about the Olsen twins. They even asked them. They said, "How was he?" They said he was the greatest guy I ever met. He was so nice to work with. He was so polite to them. He did everything bent over backwards for him. So he wasn't making jokes. They're like, "Oh, he's sexualizing the Olsen." No, he's sexualizing a doll. He's making jokes about a doll.
I know, dude. I posted something about Saget on my stories, and then some fucking asshole fucking post said, "You know, he was a known rapist."
He wasn't a
I
rape.
didn't even.
He was never accused of any rape. He was never accused of anything except for
Or
being
known pedophile. Sorry, known.
He was not a
pedophile.
known pedophile.
What the fuck are you
He
talking
never
about,
molested
dude?
a child. He made a joke to a doll on set to make light of a situation. Like that's not a big deal.
I didn't even bother, dude. I didn't
If you have
bother
if
responding.
you're looking for things that you're mad about, and you're looking at Bob Saget, and that's where you're hanging your hat, and you have a fucking pickle in your ass about it. Get the fuck out of here. You're a piece of shit. We're not talking about R. Kelly dying. You know what I mean? We're talking about fucking Bob Saget. Oh, he made jokes about a doll. They should fucking crucify him. Fuck you, you piece of shit. That's how I feel about that. That's how I feel.
Have they said how he passed away yet?
They said it was natural causes.
Because they didn't find any drug paraphernalia or anything like that.
I assume a heart attack.
Yeah.
Or stroke or some such nonsense. I don't think we'll know until an autopsy is released. It may have been done already.
But I mean, I know the typical thing to say about people is that, oh, he was so nice, but Saget was all about that life, dude. He was all about that life.
Yeah.
I mean, because I've heard him on podcasts, and I've heard his podcast. I think it was called Bob Saget's Here for You.
Yeah.
Yeah, and yeah, dude, he was a really nice guy.
Never heard a bad word about the guy until he fucking died. Not one.
And calling your friend,
Yeah, we were at a show one time with a friend of mine, and a friend said hi to him, and Bob Saget looked at him and called him a faggot. But I think I don't know that. That guy sucks a little bit, so I'm okay with that.
But it is even that's like hilarious in itself, just like with like unprovoked, just said, "Well, you're up."
Yeah. Maybe it was just he's having a day. It's whatever.
Maybe. But yeah, rest in peace, Norm and Saget and Betty White, who was 99.
Betty White as well. We lost. She was
short of 100.
I feel a little bit less bad about her because she was a fucking 100 years old.
Well, yeah, I mean, yeah.
I still love me, so everybody loves Betty White. You can't not love Betty White.
Her thing, you're not celebrating her dying, but you're celebrating her life and her death.
I was more of a B. Arthur fan personally.
B. Arthur was the sexy one, I think.
She was a handsome woman. You don't hear them say that anymore, but I think that's an accurate. She was a tall,
I think you can refer to some women as handsome.
I think that's. I mean that in the nicest way. I don't mean that in a rude way. I think she was a tall, strong woman. I love a woman who.
Do you remember the movie Airheads, where one of the things that they were demanding, one of the demands was naked pictures of B.
Arthur? Yes, I do remember that. What a movie that we all watched. And no one remembers.
I want to make some Twin Peaks Airheads memes with that.
I have to rewatch Airheads, and I worry that I'll hate it on a rewatch.
No way, dude. You can't, because you got Buscemi, you got Sandler, you got Fraser, you got David Arquette.
Is that our next crossover?
That might be. It's sounding really attractive right now.
My next solo. I'm still doing Peep Show. I'm gonna be doing that for a long time.
Which has been great. I haven't seen the show, but I'm loving the memes.
I would recommend watching the show if you get a chance. It's a breeze.
I want to, dude. I really want to. It's hard for me to get into new shows and get into new anything.
I get it totally.
But I'm always thinking about these Peep Show and the other one you did, Danger 5.
I was talking to Peaks in the Hall, and he was talking about some show. He tagged me in something. I'm like, what fucking show is this? He's like, it's this show. I'm like, I can't keep up with all these fucking shows. You guys are posting stuff. He tagged me in something. I've never fucking seen this. I don't even know what you're
Although I finished, my lady and I finished Dexter, and we're watching Yellow Jackets right now.
So Yellow Jackets, I want to start it, and I also don't.
It's good. It's good. It's really cool.
Maybe I'll check it out.
Yeah.
Coral keeps talking to me about it. She's like, yeah,
She's
check it
all
out.
about it. Yeah, she's been posting
Yeah.
a bunch
But
about
she's
it.
fucking got terrible taste, so I'm not listening to her.
Well, you think I have terrible taste too?
Yeah, that's why I'm not listening. That's why I don't listen to either of you about anything. I'm not taking your fucking advice. Get the fuck out of here. But I'm also doing to not yet. I don't know when. I haven't started yet. In between some peak show, I'm going to be doing Oh Brother, We're Art Peaks.
Oh, dude.
Continuing my Coen Brothers trajectory here, where I had done No Country for Old Peaks. I'm going to be doing Oh Brother, We're Art Peaks. I got a bee in my bonnet about it. Somebody said something about it, and I'm like, I'm gonna fucking do that.
I'm already thinking of some stuff I can maybe contribute, or I'll post and I'll tag you as a.
We're not even. I'm not there yet, so don't.
When you do, I'm gonna maybe save them. I'm gonna see when I'll try and bring myself to make them.
There's a lot,
and then I'll save them.
There's a lot going on in that movie that's easy to
I would need a rewatch. Great soundtrack.
Okay, great. It's a great fucking movie. It's going, but I've no. You see, they're doing the Scottish play.
The Tragedy of Macbeth.
Yeah, it looks good.
Which you told me about. I had no idea what the story of.
I told you, but I thought you told me about it.
Well, I think I thought you already saw the trailer for it, and I just asked.
I don't know. I don't remember. Somebody.
I don't think I informed you about it. I think you already knew about it when I asked you.
I probably did. It looks good.
It looks beautiful, dude.
I like Denzel. I like him.
Hell yeah, Denzel's badass.
He's a good guy too.
And you got I've heard good stories about him. And Frances McDormand. I love.
She's married to one of the Coen brothers, so she's in everything. So
oh, really? Okay, so it's like
I don't know
Rob
which one
Zombie, Sherry Moon thing.
Yeah. I don't know if it's Joel or Ethan, but she's also a good actress. That's not an indictment of her as an actor.
Oh yeah, I'm happy to see her and all that stuff and everything she does. Hell yeah. That looks really cool. But yeah, you told me that it's basically the story of the Lion King. I had no idea what the
uncle
that
kills
story
dad, son goes away, learns how to avenge it, comes back, kills uncle. There's Macbeth. It's a Lion King. It's actually a Lion King. I mean, that's
you educated me.
Yeah.
That's one of the things where I'm embarrassed to say like that I don't know.
You don't know Shakespeare. You don't have to know fucking Shakespeare. It's all garbage.
It's not that I don't have to know. It's just that I feel like it's common knowledge for so many people, but I have so many gaps in my knowledge about so many things in life and entertainment.
Well, you can't know everything, and you're doing a hell of a job learning about. You learned about Nick Cave last year. You learned about all sorts of good stuff.
Oh yeah, dude. I think I'm only 3 fucking records short from having every single one of the studio albums.
Which ones do you think you're missing?
I think I only need Avatar Blues, Lyre of Orpheus, Dig Lazarus Dig, and Nocturama.
Those are all good. The Lyre of Orpheus is probably the weakest of those because it's
it's a double with Avatar and I love both sides of that.
I like it. It's probably out of those 3, it's probably the weakest. It's not a.
I think Nocturama is the weakest.
You think so?
Yeah.
You know what? I'm gonna have to go back and listen to them to see how I feel.
Because Nocturama has some great songs in it. Babe, I'm on Fire is like one of the best ever. Yeah. I mean, but I think as a whole album, no, like Dig Lazarus Dig, I think would be our favorite among those 3. Actually, I don't know. You know what? Actually, no. I gotta say it's tied for me, and I don't separate Avatar Blues and Lyre of Orpheus just because I've heard them both together.
I always do.
It's hard for me. It's hard for me to separate it.
Way different things they're trying.
I just see it as 2 separate sides of the same album.
I think that's fine. I think you can think about it, whatever you want to think about it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
There's a way to think about it.
All good albums, though.
Yeah.
But the fact that I'm only 3 albums short from that, and like the short amount of time that I started collecting those records, dude.
It was only last year. You've been muscling.
It was very recently, yeah.
I think I'm 5 short on Tom Waits, 5 or 6, but he had more albums.
Oh, dude, Midnight Hour just got they just got Tom Waits the what is it, the Baller box set, I think it is, or something like that. They got that and Real Gone. I'm tempted to buy those. I'm tempted to buy Real Gone at least.
Stick to Nick first, finish your collection, then worry about another.
And I think they just got Lyre of Orpheus and Avatar Blues.
Yeah, you don't want to get in too many hands and too many pots, or whatever fuck their fucking fuckulation is. So let's get back to Twin Peaks here. Norma and Hank have a genuine tension, like a realistic tension. I believe that.
Oh yeah.
Norma she looks beautiful in purple, a beautiful woman,
Mhm.
great actress. I love that she's like, begrudgingly, she's like, he's my husband, isn't he? And just, she's
Yeah.
so fucking
So
done with
bitter,
this shit.
resentful.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
And she just, for a scene that's like 2 minutes long and she has like 2 lines of dialogue, she nails it. Her
Delivers a lot.
her body language, everything about it is perfect.
I always get so sad knowing that Peggy Lipton passed away from cancer.
She was a hell of a lady.
Yeah.
I like her daughter as well, Rashida Jones.
Who's her daughter?
Rashida Jones.
Rashida Jones is her daughter?
Yes, with Quincy
what
Jones.
The fuck?
She's married to Quincy Jones.
Wow.
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
You didn't know that? They look
I didn't know that.
It's not even the fact that Rashida Jones is darker skinned. She looks like her mom. She really does.
I'm thinking of the nose right now, and I think the nose might be similar too.
Yeah, she looks. There was one interview she did, and they were like, "Oh, you're looking very tan," and she's like, "Thanks, I'm ethnic." Like she's black. I mean, what the fuck? Her dad's Quincy fucking Jones. What are you talking about? You're tan. God. Yeah, you're fucking tan.
Yeah, I'm ethnic.
Can you imagine how fucking stupid you have to be to go to a black lady and say something like that?
That's fucking dumb. Oh my god.
So then we move to a convenience store next to the Lydecker Pet Hospital, once again reaffirming that I thought Mike and Bob had a relationship. Convenience store. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
I put all these pieces together thinking that this would make sense. You know what I mean?
Yeah. That's still so funny to me. Mom, Bob.
Yeah, because he like cries when he's saying it though. He's going like, it's a, and I'm like, oh, he didn't mention mom before, but he did mention Bob before, you know?
Yeah.
But the convenience store where the twine was bought is next to Lydecker Pet Hospital. So I was putting all this together thinking that we're seeing a parallel relationship with Bob and Bob and Mike. Okay. You know what I mean? And I guess we don't because it never really goes anywhere. And the question I have is, hospital is open and there are people there. Bob Lydecker is in a hospital.
Mm-hmm.
Who are these people there to see?
I asked myself the same thing. For once, I thought of something that you thought of too.
Yeah. Yeah. Who you went to Lydecker? This is not a big town. So Lydecker Pet Hospital, there's not a lot. I don't think there's 5 or 6 doctors working there. Who are you there to see?
Yeah, I don't get that.
And also the place is a veritable Noah's Ark. Fucking like emus and
every kind of animal. Every animal's in there.
Where are we at? We're in Washington State. Why do you have any of these animals?
They even have a Cusco.
And Cooper makes a common misconception here that I like to point out. So the shortest distance between 2 points is a straight line. That is incorrect. The Earth is not straight. It is curved. The shortest distance between 2 points is a curved line.
It's a gay line.
Yeah, it is a curved line, Cooper. Then we move to Shelley and Bobby having some very symmetrical and sexy heavy petting. And I'd like to point out, is that what Shelley wears under her uniform?
That's what I was wondering. I mean,
if anybody needs a reason why I date so many servers and waitresses, there it is. That's the reason.
For the possible fact that they might be wearing something that sexy underneath the
I have dated a dozen or so servers or waitresses or whatever you want to call them. Every single one of them was the craziest and they sexy. Something, you know, they had something really sexy going on you wouldn't expect. You know what I'm saying?
Well, she already knew she was going to see Bobby after work, right?
Yeah. Well, she's seeing him on her break, is what she said. So she wore this to there, hoping to get. And she even mentions, "Hey, Bobby, we're gonna fucking do it." Like, what do you? Because he's getting all worried about Leo, thinking about Leo, and then she's like, "I got to be back in 10 minutes, dude, or half an hour. We're gonna get down to business here.
Think about that later. Fix me instead."
Yeah. But I'd like to just point out, Twin Peaks may have given me the fetish for the restaurant industry that I went into.
Maybe.
So Bobby's acting surprised. I like Bobby's acting here is actually great because he's acting surprised that Leo sells drugs. Leo sells drugs. Oh, I couldn't have possibly. Who would have known such a thing? And they get into the shirt, and Leo, what's his initial sewn and everything? What is he, 5 years old? What a piece of shit. Like, that made me unreasonably mad when she said that. I'm like,
it's mine. My initials is mine. Wear my shirt.
Like, does he have a lot of clothes go missing and he needs to find them by the tag?
He's a dumbass. A dumbass with the ponytail.
I think she makes a mistake here in letting Bobby take the shirt, because that's her insurance to not get beaten up so much.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, these two have turned into an ID channel couple so quickly. You know, we're gonna murder Leo or whatever. There's some, and you know, she's like, you know how to use a gun, and they don't bring up that Bobby had murdered a guy a couple of weeks
Bobby
ago.
killed a guy.
Bobby killed a guy. Yeah, Bobby killed Mike, according to Laura Palmer.
Yeah, what that part always fucking
it confused me. I'm like, what do you? I was like, did Mike get killed? And the first time I watched it, because I only watched the connected edition now, where it's the this piece is put in. But even when I watched it, the first time I watched like the regular one, I'm like, Mike got killed. I'm like, no, that doesn't. The way it was delivered didn't make any sense. That it was supposed to be her like fucked up, but I didn't get that from the scene.
Well, that's the only thing that I could think of when I first saw that.
It was such a strange. But
jarring. It's still even with that explanation, it's still like so. Yeah, like you said, jarring.
She wasn't that fucked up enough that she didn't. Why'd you think it was Mike? I don't understand.
It fucked me up. Her getting fucked up about that fucked me up.
I don't know. It was, and it wasn't even like a Lynch scene. It was just a confusing scene. Because you can often write off Lynch's plot holes with going, oh, it's David Lynch, but that was just bad writing. That was just confusing writing.
I don't even want to call it bad, because I liked the weird feeling that it brought me.
I guess it didn't. It didn't make any sense. At least
I wasn't. It didn't frustrate me to say. I guess
I was just confused the first time I saw it. I'm like, wait, I thought I missed something. Did I miss a scene? Did I miss?
I always like that. I don't know why. I think I always loved that.
Either way, we have different. I maybe I need to go back and watch it again. We'll get to that eventually. I have to give you my copy of the Missing Pieces one where it's put together.
Dude, I would fucking, because
that's what we're watching when we get to it.
Really?
Yeah.
I refuse to watch that, dude.
Anything but it, because it's the Missing Pieces are canon. David Lynch put stuff from The Return to talk about the Missing Pieces.
Yeah. It was supposed to be one full movie. Like that's how it was supposed to be, right?
It's like 6 fucking hours. We're gonna do a 2-part when we get to that. Cool. Yeah.
Oh, that's for sure. Yeah.
We get to the police station. Tension between Lucy and Andy heightens. He talks about dropping his gun and it went off. Yeah, also inside of her. And and they get to the shooting range, which I like the shooting range scene a lot. There's a lot going on. I like that they have a shooting range in the basement. Like most police places don't have that, like small police places, which is kind of cool. And I wish we met Hawk's girlfriend, Diane Shapiro, PhD Brandeis.
Great lady.
What a lady. Got him. He was all kind of. I love his poem because it sounds like a high school poem. You'd write your girlfriend or something from MySpace or Vampire Freaks. When I was on Vampire Freaks.
Vampire Freaks, yeah.
That's how I got goth girls. And something I would have written about blood and sex and love and whatever.
I like to call the old poetry that I used to write the really bad poetry. Even still, if I write it, it's bad. They're like lyrics to a Mystic Spiral song.
Oh God! Yes, yes. Now that I'm thinking about it, it's they're trying to change the name. Thinking about changing the name.
We might change the name. We're Mystic Spiral. Thinking of changing the name.
Cooper makes a faux pas here. I'd like to point out that a FBI agent is not permitted to modify their standard issue weapon.
I didn't know that.
Says he made some modifications to it. You're not allowed to do that. It's not your weapon. It's the government's weapon.
Crazy. So no
modifications he made to it. Looks exactly the same, but
so no government employee can
no, you can't mod your gun. No. Because you need to, if you're in the field and you have a modded weapon, that means that if something happens with that weapon, they can't know if it was the gun's fault, your fault, the suspect's fault. You know what I mean? Now you're putting a whole thing on the whole. Can you imagine going to court and you're a defendant and your lawyer's going to say he modified his gun? Something was wrong with the FBI agent's gun. You know what I mean? Like that's a whole thing on there. It needs to be
Sure.
regulation, standard
Makes
regulations.
sense.
So there's no bullshit when it goes to court. So there's no bullshit if there's a shooting. So there's no bullshit or any of it. You start modifying it, you're bringing into a whole bunch of legal issues with now your gun is not the way it's supposed to be.
So you're telling me that Dale's a criminal and he should go to jail?
It's not criminal. I don't know if it's a criminal act, but it's definitely he could get like, you know.
I don't see Dale Cooper as the same character anymore. I think he's terribly flawed,
he's,
and he needs to go to jail and pay for his
you know
actions.
what he should also any arrests he makes in regards with a gun on someone are now open to suspect.
Mhm.
So
everything's fucked.
Yeah, everything. Put the kibosh on the whole thing. You done screwed it up. And he says something that this is something weird. He says women were drawn from a different set of blueprints. Leave that one alone. Is he telling Andy to break up with Lucy or what?
No. He's saying leave that. Don't worry about her being worried of what she's worried about.
Okay. I always misunderstood that because I thought about it a couple different ways, and I'm like, what is he trying to tell Andy? He's telling him let her cool down a little bit, essentially.
Yeah. Exactly. That's like
give her time to cool down
on the subject.
I overthought it. I'm like,
that's an easy one to overthink, though. I had to think about when I was because I actually just watched the episode today, and so I had to think about that. But right away,
a better way they could have worded that. You know what I mean? Like that's just an awkward way of saying it. And Harry says something that's very telling. Not many secrets left around here.
Yeah.
Andy's shooting is great. I love he's shooting a gun and he can't do it. And Coop is I think they went a little overboard with Coop shots here. Like I put 2 through the eye. Come on, get the fuck out of here.
Yeah, that's like that's terribly violent. That's a little scary.
It's also nonsensical. Like why is he's that good of a shot, but he can't solve this case? He's that good a detective, but he can't figure out who the fuck. There's 20 people in this town. Fucking get him in a room.
A physical thing and a mental thing.
I guess. And we get some hints at his lost love, who we'll find out sometime later, sort of. I mean, they have this big tragedy about it, but it's not really all that important in the long run.
Not really.
Moving to the diner, Shelley admits to Norma something we all know. Leo hits her, and Norma is totally disaffected by that statement.
Well, she doesn't act all that, but which maybe it shows that she's gone through some shit in her life.
Yes. Well, they talk about going through trauma here, but I just think that her reaction could have been a little bit more concerned and more like motherly, I suppose. Or been like, I know, honey, I know what you're going through. Something more than. I just think it was a weird take. I don't know. And they said they're going to
a better written diner lady line. Yeah,
something that they could have done in there that I would have. It didn't seem so dispassionate to Shelley's plight. Someone comes to you and they're like, "My husband's beating me," and you're like, "I got problems too, kid." That's kind of what she did to her a little bit. Like she's like, we got too many men, and they're gonna go get knockovers. So she says we're gonna be the knockouts of the double R. They are.
They're the only two.
There's a heavier set German girl who's very cute, but if I'm going to pick 2 knockouts in the double R, I'm going to pick the 2 that are there every day, and the 2 that are really hot, and that's the same 2. It's like maybe 4 of you that work here, 2 of you are really, really hot, and have to be the ones that are there every day. So I don't know what, and they actually look worse after the makeover.
Oh man, yeah, that was a little strange.
To get into, okay. We then go to James, who's attempting to use a phone, not succeeding well. And they mentioned diet lasagna.
What the fuck is diet lasagna?
I've never heard of diet lasagna in all my years of working in food. And does he mean healthy lasagna, like strained, turkey lasagna?
Maybe it's like what is it? Like gluten-free or carb-free lasagna or pasta. Or like carb-free was the Atkins thing?
Atkins was big, but you're not making lasagna carb-free. The basis of the fucking lasagna is noodles.
I don't know, man.
I'd like to hear what you're thinking.
I'm I'm reaching.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know what the hell he's talking about. Neither does he, because he's like, "What the hell's diet?" I think he's like, "What the hell's diet?" We've all looked at like a cookbook before and been like, "What the fuck are they?" You ever watch one of those people cooking on like Instagram, and you're like, "What the fuck did they? How did they do that?" Like,
if I, you know what, if I heard Doc on the other line, if I was James, I'd be so psyched to go over there and help him out, just to hang out with Doc. Like, well, just because I love the character of Doc Hayward so much, you know, and so,
and then
like, you know,
SOS, Eddie Dope, he's just great.
Mayday. Yeah, he's just charming and silly. I like it.
I'd have rather just him talking than listen to James and fucking what's her name blither on like a bunch of idiots.
I don't think I'd be great company.
Yeah, and he's at the double R eating anyways. Like, okay, great, thanks, guys. You're out in public. You're out in public, so it's not like you're somewhere moping. And then he meets Maddie for the first time, which we mentioned that doesn't make any sense. Like she's gonna stand out in this town. She looks like Laura Palmer, and she also can't act. So she's gonna be. And I hate the interaction. I fucking hate it. It's so insufferable, these two talking to each other. I'm getting food from my Uncle Leland because we're hungry.
I don't really like the scenes with them too much.
Cool. Yeah, bro. Like, it has to end. And it's the shortest scene in the fucking episode, and I can't stand it.
Do you think I look like Laura Palmer?
Yeah, you're like fucking you're like fucking dumb bitch. What are you talking about? Get the fuck. Yes, you know what you look like.
So this was hinted at, right, with the first Black Lodge episode. She's my cousin.
Yes.
She's filled with secrets.
Doesn't she look exactly like my cousin? Yeah.
Yeah. Not that I have a big point with mentioning that, but that's connected.
Put the strings together. That's what it is. Patty Duke. You know, they look like they talk like what a crazy pair. They're cousins. We then see Hank goes free from prison, and we go to young Audrey Horne, who tries to make herself look younger, so she'll be in her dad's good graces. She puts like a hair thing in and wears like a buttons up her sweater, and she like puts herself down, like looks demure.
Tries to look like the innocent girl that
she does a very good job of like looking like a younger version of herself.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
and
it's a really sad scene.
Yeah, he buys it hook, line, and sinker. Does Ben?
Well, he's hesitant at first, but you know,
she had him from the get go. All it was just a matter of time.
I suppose
she's been manipulating her dad her whole life. This is not new. You know what I mean? She knows exactly what she's doing. She's not.
Well, I feel like, you know, that with their relationship, they had, you know, obviously some kind of falling out where Ben just settles for
banging her classmates. And
well, yeah, that. But I mean, on like a general, you know, father-daughter relationship.
Oh yeah, I'd say those two things.
It fell to shit sometime, and then their relationship eventually settled into being the kind where, like, you know, rich dad just.
They're constantly working against each other in some fashion, or she is against him. And too much of her success, may I add. Ben's not exactly, can't get one over on her. It doesn't seem like.
Yeah. So they're both aware of what kind of relationship they have right now, where it's just, you know, they don't talk, that everything's just material, where he buys her everything that she wants and does all that shit. But
to keep her quiet. It's to keep her quiet. Yeah. That's what it is.
But she doesn't necessarily have a real interest in. I mean, it doesn't.
Anything.
In forming a relationship with her dad again. So she's definitely trying to use him right now.
Oh yeah, she does a good job of it, manipulating him.
Yeah, just the idea to use the lost relationship with your father against your father.
So cavalier too. Like that was the first trick she pulled out of the bag. She didn't hesitate. She was like, "Daddy, I know we, you know, and it was good. It was good stuff."
Those are the two things. You see the scene with her and Donna first, and they're talking about Laura disappearing, how Audrey wants to help Coop. And next thing you do is you see her, you know, being
she was all like, junior detective,
cunning, and absolutely.
Yeah, I like it. It gives Audrey a lot of gravitas here as a person that can get shit done. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
She puts her
that's one thing I'm enjoying on this rewatch. So one thing I think
it's gonna go right fucking downhill eventually. Wait for it.
I know. Well, here's the thing with Audrey's character. I think I mentioned it before in one of the earlier pods, where I I never really saw what everybody else saw in her, or aside from her just being cute and all that. But I'm really enjoying her character a lot more now this time around.
There's a lot more to it than I think they give credit for, because she's obviously played up as like the attractive, hot broad.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? A little bit. But
Which she is, but
yeah.
but there's more depth to the character than I remember. Actually.
There's a lot. Audrey is a character that I thought could have a lot of agency. I'm very big on agency for female characters and stuff, because there's not, I've bitched about this before, so many shows, so many writings treat women as an extension of a male character or an extension of a thing. And that's okay if it's about one character. If it's about this guy, everybody should be an extension of him. But in an ensemble stuff, I would love to see women's agency be more. And that doesn't mean women can fight better than men, which is what Hollywood thinks it means. It means women having character.
Yeah, exactly. Not just being more badass or more strong and all that.
Well, that doesn't make sense in that regard. Women and men are different. We have different things, different values, and we have different ways of being strong and tough and powerful, and different ways of being what we want to get. There's nothing wrong with showing a woman who can get her own way and doesn't have to be physically the toughest person in the room. Why can't she be smart?
Yeah,
you know what I mean.
It's just that when it's happening and it doesn't make sense, that's when it seems forced.
It doesn't make the only reason it doesn't make sense is whenever they make every male character an idiot and only the women character is strong. That's not agency. That's bad writing.
Yeah.
And that's what they often do. They think a strong woman's film is every guy's an idiot except for the women, and that's not what women don't want that. Men don't want that. I would want to see man and woman that both have agency in a story, that are interesting, compelling characters. I look at Mad Max, Fury Road.
Oh yeah,
as a good indication of Max and Furiosa having agency as characters. Both of them, and he could beat her up in a fight, yeah, but that doesn't mean that she's not smart or cunning or good at something. Like that doesn't mean anything. You know what I mean? And people were like, well, Max didn't say a lot. Max didn't say a lot in any of the fucking movies. What are you talking about?
Yeah, just strong silent type.
Yeah, and I think that's a great indication of a woman with agency in a film, and how you can present her in any particular way. And I look at the new Batman movie, and it looks like Catwoman Zoe Kravitz looks like strong, cool. Catwoman's a fucking cool character, man.
Yeah, like that's gonna be really good.
She's cool and she's tough and she gives Batman shit and she wants to bang him. And there's nothing wrong with her having a sexual feelings towards him, because she's also cool in her own right.
It's going to be redemption for Halle Berry Catwoman.
And I think Zoe Kravitz looks more like Catwoman than any Catwoman we've seen yet.
Oh yeah,
Catwoman is shorter, and she's bustier, and she's she got short hair a lot of the time in the comics. I hate when they had like Anne Hathaway. Anne Hathaway's 100 feet tall.
With the long hair and everything.
Yeah, it didn't look good.
It's all weird.
An ex of mine looked a lot like, you ever play the Arkham City games, the Arkham games?
Yes.
She looked exactly like Catwoman from that, with the big green eyes, short hair. She looked short. She looked exactly like her. She loved Catwoman. Really? She looked just like Catwoman. She would get the comics. She's like, I was like, why do you like Catwoman? She's like, she looks like me. Oh my God.
She looks like me. I don't look like her. She looks like me.
I was like, that's fair. That's a very fair indication of. But I just want to say that Audrey had the ability. They could have done so much with her. I don't want to get into what they do with her, but right here, she's a strong, cool, cunning, interesting character that could do. It seems like she can get shit done. Yeah,
I know that you're not gonna like what they do with her character. I'm gonna have to see how I feel about it when we watch everything again.
It's one of the biggest travesties, and I'm not alone in saying that. And I
know you're not. I mean, it's
not me being critical. It's just bad.
No, it's not critical at all, and it's totally understandable. But I think I'm trying to come up with a reason why it doesn't really bother me all that much.
Because you didn't like the character.
I don't know. I guess we'll see.
Because you didn't like Audrey until now. That's why it didn't bother you.
That's true. So yeah.
So now
that's very good reason to believe that I'll be upset this time around. So we'll see.
We'll see. And so we go to the police station, and they have the files are organized by animal. Okay, and then we find out, which is not really that important, but it's kind of funny.
They're organized by pet name.
Yeah, by the animal name. Yeah, that's what I mean.
Yeah. Oh,
Like,
sorry. I thought you meant.
I said I
You
just
said
said animal. I
animal.
just said animal. I meant animal. The name of the
Yeah,
animal,
that probably like would have meant like
which
animal type or.
which they're looking for whatever. And then we find out there's a J was in Laura's tummy, and then they're going to go pick up Jacques Renault. Bobby just happens to be there at the exact same time, planting evidence, which you had all fucking day from when she went to work in the middle of the day. You had all day planted this evidence. Jacques isn't there; he's in Canada, so you waited till 9 o'clock at night.
Shitty timing. Bobby.
They don't catch Bobby for reasons that I don't understand, and because they're right behind him.
Well, if it was Hawk going after him, then he probably just stopped and
he's like, I got better shit. I got better shit to do. Hawk is checked out.
That's what happened with the one-armed man. Remember?
Yeah. I was watching him, and then he walked away, and I couldn't fucking find him. I couldn't figure out.
I
Giant hospital.
I just didn't go after him.
This cyclopean, massive general hospital that we've got. I couldn't just ask a nurse.
Good.
And we move to, they do find Leo's shirt, so that's Bobby's mission accomplished. And obviously they're not chasing Jacques down. It's when Bobby, because he's about 150 pounds lighter. We then move to Leo and Ben meeting at a secret meeting for the fact that he brought his giant red car.
Not too secret.
Bernard Renault is dead. Thank God. Useless character in that one.
That's the one that was being interrogated in the earlier episode, right?
With a terrible accent. I don't know nothing.
I don't know nothing.
Yes.
A bartender, right?
Yeah, he was fucking Australian for a brief minute.
I don't know.
He was fucking British. It
was weird.
He slipped in and out of a bunch of different accents that didn't make any sense. I was just watching.
I got to shout out another podcast right now. Three Fish and a Percolator.
Yeah, good guys.
Yeah. Just wanted to shout them out because I remember when I haven't had the time to listen to their stuff a lot recently, but I remember they were mentioned. They had a soundboard. And they love the Bernard Renault line, so they always was fucking letting that soundboard off with that.
I was giving grief earlier to the podcast, but I actually like all of the other podcasts that do Twin Peaks stuff. I hope they don't think that I'm being serious. No one takes me seriously.
No, they know you're joking around. They know we're both silly fuckers and we're just joking around.
There's a bunch of rascally goofballs.
But I know that we have a tendency to mention Talking Backwards and Damn Fine TV.
Yeah.
But I don't think we've ever mentioned any other ones. So
I like
for sure Three Fish and a Percolator.
They're good guys. They're handsome.
And one more David Lynch themed podcast, one called On Lynch. There's only like 1 or 2 episodes out right now.
That's what about banging David Lynch. How the ways you would bang David Lynch, right?
Literally on Lynch.
Yeah, the first one's about missionary, the other one's doggy. I think Reverse Cowgirl is my favorite. They're going to get into in episode 4.
From what I remember, it's just like a deep dive into Eraserhead, and the second episode is I think some interviews with some people from Eraserhead. I think I haven't listened to the second episode.
How many of these fucking podcasts out there?
No, but this one is done really well because I definitely I'm gonna link it to you because the production is really good.
I'm interested. I'm genuinely interested.
You for sure she took time on it. For sure she absolutely took time on it. So on Lynch.
Is it just a lady talking? Is it a group of people?
Lady talking with some production with like I think audio from the movie and lines from the movie and some other sound effects here and there too. So
I like it.
I'll link it to you. It's on Spotify, so I'll put it to you on there.
Cool.
Yeah.
So Leo's acting here is awful. It's unsufferable.
It's awful in most of his scenes, right?
This is probably the worst scene.
The worst one, the one that stands out
by a long shot. And I do like Ben saying you work with a bunch of glue sniffing squish heads.
Squish heads.
And here's a question I have for you. Leo goes, Jacques is in Renault. Ben doesn't know that. He's working for Ben.
Wait. Sorry, say that again.
So Leo tells Ben that Jacques is in Canada and he's not coming back. Mm-hmm. But Ben should know that because he's working at One Eye Jack's.
Oh, yeah.
Did he?
Well,
not,
do you think
did he not know that?
maybe he's just a bad businessman and doesn't know
I
what
mean, it just
these
seems
people are
strange.
up
Maybe
to?
I mean, it's possible that he got a job after that, but it seemed like that's what he went up there to do. Like that's what he's going to do.
Yeah,
Deal blackjack. I don't know. It's really not important. I just think it was weird that
it's a thing. It's a thing.
if I was Ben, I'd be like, yeah, I fucking know, idiot. Like we like.
Yeah, I know. Yeah,
They talk about burning the mill. Ben wants it to be arson.
arson.
Off letters. That's about the sides of that. We go to James and Donna and that fucking necklace. Getting a fucking necklace, and they can't find the fucking necklace. We then go to a scene that I'm happy to talk about. Pete was fishing.
Oh
and,
yeah.
And Josie makes him a sandwich with mayonnaise. Mad.
Put some mayo with that.
Very cute. Josie and Pete.
Yeah, I love
cute
that.
together.
Yeah.
And we see an odd lingering mayo scene where she's putting the mayo on and they linger on it.
What do you think that means?
Someone wanted to see an Asian woman smear mayo. It's just it seemed like a weird, and she makes that fucking sandwich so quickly. Like she knocks that fucking. She got a future in the craft.
I think she already had the sandwich made. I think
she said, I'll make you a sandwich.
No, she said I made you a sandwich. I think
she didn't know he was coming in. How the fuck did she know he was coming in? Came in from fishing.
I don't know. Sure. Well, no. He worked. He came home from work because he said
So he's talking to her about fishing.
I definitely recall her asking how his shift went. And he said, cut some wood.
Yeah,
made some lumber.
He could have made. He had a fishing. I thought he went fishing after work.
Maybe he went fishing afterwards.
That's what I assumed. Yeah, like
okay.
He went to work. He went fishing because then he's talking to her about fishing. Remember?
Well, yeah, because about asking her to join a fishing competition.
He had been out fishing and talking to his buddies and found out about this competition.
It's like something that he's been winning for like a couple. He's like the champion. He's like
but
champion.
like, he found out he's going to do a mixed double and they wants to invite her.
I'm going to remind you. I put closed captions on when I'm watching the show. I think I recall her saying, "I made you a sandwich."
I'm gonna go to the tape. I'm gonna go to it. Well, she said, "I'm gonna make you a sandwich."
No, I think she said, "I made you a sandwich," and then he wanted her to put mayo after the fact.
Add a little mayo because Catherine here.
Yeah. Oh, so we'll see. I don't know. I love that you're playing. That you're actually going to
put it up.
Prove one of us wrong or right now. You petty fuck. Oh boy.
Take a second. I'm putting that. But we'll get to that.
Okay. But yeah, that's a great scene with them though. I always love seeing their exchanges, and I wish there was more. Too bad we couldn't see that fishing scene or that fishing competition.
No, you know what she says?
What's she say?
I make you turkey sandwich.
Are you sure?
Yeah, I'll show you. Where's the thing at? How do I
okay.
How do I share the thing? I did it before.
You're gonna make me pull up my Netflix right now, or no, my Vudu right now because I bought those things. Hold on. I can't believe we're doing this.
I have it right here. It says, "I make you turkey sandwich," and then he says, "That's fantastic." And is Catherine asleep? Yeah, good. Then give me some mayo with that. And then she goes, "But I make you doesn't mean either."
That doesn't mean that either. Yeah, you're right.
It doesn't mean that she's going to make it or that she did make it. It's a because of broken English, we have a conflict here.
Hold on, I'm finding.
I'm using it from the Gold Box DVDs.
The Gold Box DVDs, okay. Yeah. Yours might be more legit than mine.
She said, "I make you," but that doesn't help either of us because she could mean, "I made you a sandwich."
Okay, let's see. You can eat a horse. I made you a turkey sandwich. Okay. Now
I make you a turkey sandwich.
No, look. Okay.
Yeah. I mean, I gotta figure out how to share this thing because I can't remember, but So yours does say that, but mine does say I make you turkey sandwich.
That's wild. So yeah, it's understandable. But you know what? I'll make the argument for you that the gold box is more legit than
I think it's irrelevant, but I'm just telling you right now.
I know. I'm just.
I did this every time.
What were you even talking about? Was that it?
Boom.
Oh, nice. I make you a turkey sandwich. Maybe she meant I made you a turkey sandwich.
That's okay. It doesn't help either of us because that doesn't mean anything.
I know. I like that. So, yeah, we're both. There does
right. Appear to be a sandwich there, but that doesn't mean that. I wonder how she just. It's confusing because how does she know? She's on the phone. It doesn't matter, but she makes a sandwich for him, or has a sandwich for him. Either one.
One of those.
It's very nice of her to
Mayo's involved.
To make him food either way.
Yeah, fair.
She opens a letter from Hank, and Hank is also a talented artist.
What did Hank draw on the letter?
He drew the domino center because he calls her right after and says, "Did you get my letter?"
You know what? That's my stoned ass probably just missed the domino.
Oh yeah, he gets a letter. She pulls it out, and it's a drawing of a domino. Like he's been fucking choking on it.
I just saw the one that he's been sucking on.
As he goes, "Did you get my letter?" And she goes, "Yeah, whatever." But so we have Andy and Hank. They're both talented artists. Get them together. Let's get them on a portrait. Let's get them on something.
They can do something together.
He also calls her and he says, "You're gonna literally sucks on the fucking slurping on the domino. It's disgusting." And that's the episode. Okay.
Yep.
First question.
Yes.
Hank was fucking throating that thing. You think he learned that technique in jail?
He absolutely did.
Fucking just sucking on the goddamn.
Yep. At least that doesn't hurt for him.
No, he's learning what you're gonna be doing to people subscribing to our channel. Sucking and fucking.
Right.
And blasting you can't blast in his face though because it's hard to get a hair, so you gotta swallow the load.
I don't like you taking liberties with my mouth.
Your pretty mouth. Not quite a powerhouse episode.
I enjoyed it a lot though.
I like it, but it's that middle gap between the opening story and the finale story of the season.
Yeah.
It sort of waxes and wanes on like nothing's really happening all
it's
that.
The middle of the road episode.
Yeah, it's a middle of the road episode. It's not I'd say it's a good episode in general, but it's a middle of the road episode in terms of like nothing really there's no new revelations. We just have things moving to where they need to be at.
Very entertaining. Yeah,
it's a very entertaining episode. We had some movement, but I liked it overall. We are seeing the pieces put in place for the end of the season.
Mm-hmm.
We're seeing a lot of.
What do you make of Leland being kind of aggressive?
He was overly aggressive. I would say overly aggressive in this.
Overly aggressive. Like why are you out of your wife?
And I don't know. I think we talked about Bob as a metaphysical entity or as a this or that other thing. I think maybe this isn't. I don't want to. This is not a Bob situation. I think this is just Leland being sick and tired of his fucking wife.
I mean, she's fucking sick and tired of him.
Well, yeah, she's saying that, but you see, I think this is how they hate each other. We know they hate each other. We know
this is their relationship. Yeah.
Their relationship, and now the loss of a kid. Now they don't have to put up with each other. They don't.
Yeah.
That's
it.
Yeah,
you're right.
Now they have no reason to be together. Like, how many couples survive a dead kid? Not many.
It is interesting that
they didn't do it. You know what I mean? Even if you don't do it, if you're an
that's
actor.
true.
A lot of couples, they don't survive a dead kid. Like
no, they don't. A lot of them.
If I was with someone,
how can they unless they tackle it right then and there?
And
obviously, they can just let linger.
They had problems before that. They had problems probably before Laura. You know what I mean? They have existing problems. Bob notwithstanding, Judy notwithstanding, whatever you want to say about that. I think this is irrelevant to that. I think this is just they don't like each other. I think this is just bad coupling.
A random question in the middle of this question. In the Fire Walk with Me connected thing where they do the deleted scenes and the movie, does it include the happy scene where they're where they're having dinner?
I think
it's in that too.
I think yes. It's been a while since I watched it, but I remember having two separate scenes. One where because he's talking about trying to teach them German or whatever the fuck, Swedish or whatever the fuck it is, and they're doing it together, and it's a very nice. The axe or whatever, and it's a really nice scene. Yeah. I think that works.
It's weird to see that woven into the movie.
Yeah. I think it's smartly done, because not even the most dysfunctional family has moments of clarity, and they have moments that are nice, and they have moments that aren't horrible, and they have moments where they can love each other. Even the most horrible people have things that they enjoy. Do you know what I mean? And I think we're seeing that it wasn't as bad as it was. There was moments that they were an actual family, and they were real people, and they did love each other in some morbid, horrible capacity.
Yeah.
And definitely. I liked seeing that. I liked to see that maybe Leland wasn't always the monster that Bob notwithstanding, that he became, you know.
Well, it definitely not always. I mean, he definitely became self-aware and to a certain degree, self-aware at a couple of times during Firewalk with Me.
Well, I even think.
Go ahead.
I was just going to reiterate what you were saying. Yeah.
No, I was actually going to end that and go back to the actual episode.
Okay.
I was going to mention that Sarah seems like, why do you think she didn't want to mention the necklace? Because she's like, Leland, what the fuck? Like,
she's also really happy to talk about Bob, who was in her dream. So why is this other dream off limits?
Yeah, I don't. So I was wondering what you make of that. Or
I reiterate, the necklace has nothing to do with anything. It is not important. So why not mention it? Because it's really not important in the long run. It doesn't affect any of this case. It doesn't help them get any closer to anybody. The person who has it is Jacoby and James, and they've talked to both of them. Like nothing. It goes nowhere. So why make it like it's some secret thing that she wasn't going to tell them, because it doesn't really make a difference. If it was something that like led to, I would have been more interested if it was something that led to the person who actually did it and she was hiding it. Do you know what I mean? And because for obvious reasons she was hiding it, like she knew something about that, but that doesn't help anything at all. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Gotcha.
I didn't think about that. You make a good point. Yeah. Why make it? Oh, Leland, you're being so weird.
It's fun. It's fun to think she's hiding something. You know, it's kind of like conspiracy theories.
Well, she's fun. I hate to say this, and I don't want to indict anybody whose mother or father but they had a parent that was abusive and a parent that wasn't. I don't want to indict anybody.
Turn a blind eye.
Yeah. Sometimes you don't know. Sometimes you don't know. Sometimes you don't know. And people have a hard time believing that. But I believe sometimes people just don't know. But sometimes they do.
Yeah.
And sometimes they turn a blind eye.
They do, and they can't bring themselves to face the reality of the horrors of that situation.
And I just want to say I just want to reiterate that the first part is that I think there's a negative stigma on people that are like, how did you not know? Some people just don't fucking know. You just don't. People are hiding or lying, or you don't want to know. Do you know what I mean? There's some level of self-deception in there, maybe, but she knew something. Something. I don't know what she knew, but she knew something. So she's hiding, and we also have the whole Judy thing with that, and I don't even know how to wrap my head around that in terms of this just yet.
Yeah, but just planting a seed for a thought, you know.
Yeah. There's that scene, which was very brief, was very interesting and very telling about both of them. Good way
to start the episode.
Yeah, I thought that was a very compelling, and that I also think the Hank scene where they're in the jail was also a very compelling scene, very well done. Those are both really short scenes too, and I was disappointed because there's a lot packed into them, personality wise, that we saw with those.
Yeah, and still doesn't seem rushed either.
No,
it's just really powerfully acted and to the point still.
Because I think Hank and Norma were really good in this episode. His smarmy, cocky sort of, you don't believe him, but you want to give him a chance kind of guy. You know what I'm saying? And
yeah. And then they flip that, and you see him at the end of the episode talking with Josie, and he's like, "Oh, he's a fucking piece of shit."
Yeah,
but of course you already knew that when you saw Domino the first time.
And she make him a sandwich, so I don't know what that meant. to washing it back there is a sandwich there, but that could easily be a production issue because she's got to make a sandwich.
Could be.
Do you like mayonnaise?
Yeah.
What kind of mayonnaise?
Not too much. But,
yeah, it's mayonnaise. What kind of mayonnaise do you like?
I don't know. Just what's the main brand that everyone has? Best Foods.
The best food? Yeah.
Hellman's, the best foods.
I get a Hellman's, and I tried vegan mayo not too long ago, and I've been getting that. Pretty good. Pretty good. Vegan mayo. Yeah.
Nice.
Has a little bit more taste, like flavor to it, because it has to, because it's fucking vegan.
Yeah.
That's
But so we will go from that to a mayonnaise conversation.
I just wanted to talk. He puts mayonnaise on it. Man likes mayonnaise. There's one thing about mayonnaise. I like a chicken salad. I put mayonnaise in that egg salad.
What's a really weird sandwich that you just made me think of right now? There's that fucking Pauly Shore movie, Son-in-Law. Remember the sandwich that he makes for that little redhead kid?
I don't remember what it is though.
I think it's just lettuce and mayo and bread.
It's like a BLT.
Minus the B.
and the T.
And T.
I used to have a friend that I think I told you this. We would go to the delicatessen and he'd get a tongue sandwich with Limburger cheese. Like it was funny. And I'm like, you gotta eat that. Like you paid $15 for that because tongue is expensive.
Yeah, but isn't that funny though?
It's really good, and I don't mind tongue. I've had tongue a number of times, and I don't mind it. But like, you're just doing it to be fucking stupid. Like, don't embarrass me at the fucking delicatessen. All right, here to get some fucking good food, get some gabagool, get some knish. You know what I mean? You're gonna fucking, I gotta get a pound of this, a pound of that, and you're gonna buy some dumb shit, and you're gonna make everybody look like a fucking fool. You know?
Wait, how is that shit spelled? The gabagool. How is that shit spelled?
I don't have any goddamn idea. Suck and sound it out, you piece of shit.
Gabagoo. I'm gonna sound like that.
Yeah.
Another.
It's Capicool. It's Capicool. That's what it is.
Capicool.
Yeah.
Capicool.
Yeah.
Capicool.
Gabagool is Capicool. Capicool, however you want.
Gabagool is Capicool, and Gabagool is Gabagool.
This is just very racist to the Italians. To the Italians.
I look Italian.
Dude, you're not fucking. You're not though. You can look like it all you want. You're like a Spaniard to me.
Yeah, so I can say stuff about Spaniards too, right?
I guess. What do you know about Spaniards?
Ole.
Ole, is that it? That's you're gonna chase a bull or something.
I don't have a red blanket, a red towel.
Ever see that bull? That's nonsense. That shit's fucking leave them bulls alone.
Yeah, it's awful.
And then they stab them to death.
Oh yeah, don't they like die either way?
Yeah, they're fucking running of the bull, and I don't want to be run at by a bull. I don't even want a shopping cart coming at me. I don't want a bull coming towards me.
It's always funny to see those bulls fucking impale someone.
Boar, so yeah, fuck that. Yeah, you deserve it. You have everything coming to you. If you, I know it's a cultural thing, and maybe I don't quite understand it, but I don't want to understand it. It's cruel. We're bad enough to animals. We have to fucking do that to them too.
Yeah. It's not the best thing ever.
Would you eat a bull? Would you eat bull meat?
Man, I eat cows, so why not bull?
We're talking about this. Would you eat a camel? This is an extension of the conversation we started having on Instagram, and I wanted to get into the food thing because now we're talking.
I don't know because you asked me if I would eat a horse. So
I eat horse. No. Horse is good.
I said no to horse, right?
You said no, but you're fool's errand there. The Dutch eat horse because they don't have cows, and it's good. It's better. It's leaner meat. It's a little tougher, but it's good. Good protein is great. I've had it. I like it better than beef.
Okay. I don't know. I suppose I could probably bring myself to eat.
If I cut a hump off of a camel, I cut a hump off. All right, and I seasoned it. Put some cayenne on there, and I put some black pepper, and I put a little, something on it. I cut the fat, trim the fat, marbleize the fat, cook that over a spit. You're saying you wouldn't have some camel?
You're canceled.
That's not racist or anything. Eating a camel. I eat a camel. I eat a camel today. I've had shark. I'll tell you, it's not so good. It's a little gummy.
I've actually tried shark.
Yeah, I like alligator quite a bit.
Weirdest thing that I've tried. I've heard alligator tastes great.
Good. There's a place downtown that makes alligator stew, and they have alligator bites. It's it's a little tough, but I like the texture. I like the flavor. I had an ostrich one time, ostrich burger and one of their eggs. You know,
Those things are aggressive, right?
Yeah, I mean, it's fuck.
Ostriches.
Yeah,
Like, don't they fucking like peck and kick you and
when
fucking
my
kill
ex,
you?
we went to a petting zoo, and the one thing you're not supposed to pet was the fucking ostriches because they were behind a fence.
Don't tell me she pet it.
No, her one son reached in and got bit by a baby ostrich, and he was
And you
totally
laughed,
fine.
right?
He got more scared than he got hurt. And I'm like, the
You
one
laughed?
fucking thing I told you not to, the one thing you can't fucking touch at a petting zoo, and you stick your fucking hand in it. Oh, that kid was so goddamn annoying.
Please tell me you laughed at him.
I laughed right in his fucking little shit face.
Good.
Yeah.
Good.
You know, her kids are good. They're not my kids, they're her kids, but they're good kids. Obviously I have a daughter with her, so I don't have any choice but to stick with the DNA, but it is what it is. So we got a comment the other day. I'll go back to the food stuff in a second. People said the funniest scene was whenever you called me a piece of shit because you were fed up with me saying something. So that was hilarious.
And when?
I don't remember any of these episodes after.
No, that's a wild thing, right? Because I don't remember a single thing that we ever talk about, honestly. Maybe a couple of things here and there, but
I never remember. People were like, "Oh, you said this," and I'm like, "I don't fucking remember that."
Sometimes I feel like I should be listening to the episodes for homework.
Do you know what's weird about it though? And I found this out, and I'm going to talk about this, and she knows who she is. Talking to this broad, and she watches the show every so often, and I'll talk to her, and she's like, "Yeah, I know you mentioned that on the show." So we're coming into not a relationship, but whatever, a friendship, and she's already got the advantage on me.
Oh yeah, because she's already
knows
them. So yeah.
And it kind of is disarming because I'm not used to it.
Yeah, I'm used to it, huh?
Are you? It's weird, right? Like,
well, I mean, I don't really talk with anybody, so I don't know.
Okay. So imagine you and your young lady, you weren't together. This is just hypothetical, and you met another girl, and she watches your stuff, so she knows about you before you get to know her.
That would be disarming. I was gonna bring me to say that I'm thankful that I'm in a relationship that I wouldn't have to worry about.
That's all I mean. Is it like you come at it and now it's like, well, I don't know what I can talk about because you've already got me sussed out and sized up. You know what I mean?
Well, I suppose it would be a good challenge. It would challenge you to think about other things to talk about.
I guess. But you want to learn about the other person too, and they've already got months on months of work.
So then that's what you say. Yeah. So you already know all this about me from listening to the pod. So you tell me all this about you. So that's how it worked, right? So I'd be excuse for her to spill everything.
I went on a date. I was in a long relationship, and after we broke up, I went on a date with this girl. And the first thing I talked about during the date was peeing on people. And I couldn't get out of the peeing on people mode. I don't know where it came up. She mentioned the peeing on people. I was like, oh, peeing on people. And then I married that girl. So I guess I went okay.
Yeah, there you go. That worked out. Well, I mean, no.
I'm not good with like I don't go on dates. I think I don't want to have that kind of pressure. Can you let's just move. If you're going to date me, just move in.
That's something that my girlfip and I always tell each other, like, God, dating seems so fucking awful and terrible.
Oh my God, I don't do it.
Thank fucking God that shit's done.
Like I meet you and we were hitting it off, you can move in. We're good. Come on in.
Yeah, you're good.
We don't have to
because
leave.
You know what? Like for an older person who's single, I mean, what time are they trying to waste? I mean, you're working towards.
Yeah. Also, like, what the fuck do you want from me? What do you want?
Yeah.
I can't do that thing where you're a different person for a date. You're representative. I don't have a fucking representative, man. This is me all the time. Like
I'm listening to us talk about this, it's like I'll talk about like moving like super fast and like moving with me, right? It's like
I don't have any fucking time about that shit. As an extension of that, I went on a date with that girl, and then I went on a second date with her, and then she moved the fuck in. She was at my house and wouldn't leave for the next. So I'm like, all right, this is what's happening. She moved out of her apartment in like 3 months. So it was good for me because I'm like, okay, we're dating forever now. Like that was it. There was no. It was. I broke up with this girl after 7 years. Within 2 weeks, the other girl was living here.
I don't know. I mean, I guess an appropriate reason to move fast. I mean, the way I see it would be that you're not interested in dating. You're interested in committing to a relationship, and you're hoping the other person has that same commitment to be committed to being in a relationship. So if you guys both have that mutual commitment, then yeah, it's going to move fast naturally.
I agree. I agree with that. Yeah, I think you're
Yeah.
right. I see these people that are like, man, you know, they're like, oh, I'm going on dates. I'm not fucking going to go on a date.
I'm dating around. Like I would naturally think that if, like, I don't think that I would have to think that or assume the best in a person and think that a person who says they're dating around is at least telling the people that they're going on dates with that they're dating other people.
I think that's a person by person thing. I don't want to get into a perception of who's saying what. Bless you.
Thank you.
That was a sneeze. Speaking, so I tell you, I think I told you this. I don't know if I did. Jess, who is my baby's mama, I actually knew her in high school. I didn't go to high school with her. She used to bully my girlfriend in high school.
Oh, wow.
They went to the same high school, and the girl, Emily, who I dated in high school, would come home every day and she would cry her eyes out. She said, this girl, Jessica, is so mean to me. She picks on me every day. They beat her up one time. It's blah, 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 blah. And years later, I impregnated that girl, the bully.
That's hilarious. I'm sure Emily must have loved that.
I think if she's not dead, she's working her way towards it. I'll be honest with you.
Is every one of your exes like dead or fucking in a mental institution?
I
or
think
what?
In my mind, they're dead.
Okay, so they're dead in your mind. So
she had a bad heroin. She had a bad heroin problem later, and she may be clean now. But last time I saw her, she was real strung out. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so I just assumed that she was going that way, but I don't know. But I just think it's funny.
Do you assume there were some people from your past that you had a falling out with? Or?
Do I assume or do I wish? Because I don't wish ill on any of them. I don't.
I wouldn't think you do.
And I know I seem like a dick, but like I genuinely have nothing but I hope that they're doing well for themselves. And if they're not, I also don't care if they're doing well for themselves. But like, you know, just because I had feelings for them, I want them to be okay. But also if they're not, I also don't care because it's not my problem.
It's not your business anymore. Yeah. It's not your problem anymore. It's not your life anymore. You can only hope the best for everybody.
If they met someone and they're happy, or if they're happy alone, or if they do whatever they do, I sincerely hope that they are just doing whatever they need to be doing to get through the fucking day. And if they're not, I also don't care because it's not my problem.
That's what I hope everybody is doing, dude.
You're a well-wisher. You hope people are doing good. You're a nice person.
It's in my best interest, dude. Isn't it in my best interest for everybody else to be doing okay too? I
just want everyone else to be dead but me, and and maybe a lady and a guy for later, so she can have a guy for later, and I'll have a woman. Or if she's gay, and she can have a lady, and maybe I want a sexy guy. I get my, I've dated guys. I get my fucking knickers in a twist every so often. See a beautiful man, a beautiful bearded guy. We can rub beards together to, fucking in his ass, and. But it won't help with the population, but I'm down for whatever. Know where I was going with that.
If somebody beat me, I'm down for whatever. If somebody beat me,
what?
I'm home here right now.
Yeah, I mean, I'm down for that's I say I'm down for whatever, and I think that's to my detriment. I'll be honest with you. Because I've done whatever people wanted to do, like sexually in relationships, and I think it's I'm talking about peeing on people. I don't want to pee on people. I don't want to do that. I've peed on like 4 or 5 people because they wanted to, and I'm like, I don't know, I'll do that. Like I don't have a no. I'm not like, nah, I don't want to do that.
I'm like, I'm strong enough to say no to it.
I just don't know. I don't. Something is definitely wrong with my capacity for reacting to things. Like I just do whatever the funniest thing. I do whatever the funniest thing I can think of at the moment is, and it's normally not the hell. We just talked about this in a situation that I had. We're not going to bring it up, but I had to talk to you as my conscience because I genuinely just do the funniest thing that I think of. And this is I'm just. Jess used to tell me, she says, because I worked with her before I impregnated her, and she would go, "You always just say, I'll see where it goes." And it never goes anywhere good. So I don't know why you don't stop saying that. I'm like, I don't know. I think it's funny. I don't know. We'll see where it goes. I'm gonna ride this out.
I guess, and to your credit, sometimes in certain situations, it's good. It's good to do the funny thing.
It's only by my
good luck. Work out.
It's only by my good luck that it's worked out. That's it. Because I should be
so then
fucking
don't push
dead.
your luck then.
Yeah, I should be. I should have been murdered. a number of times. I've done the stupidest shit, and I'm like, why am I doing this? Where am I? We literally had a conversation today where I had a moral quandary, and I was just like, oh, I'm down for whatever. And you're like, I don't think that's a good idea, buddy.
Yeah.
And I'm like, huh, not a good idea. What do you mean?
Well, you want to think about what's best for your daughter, you know. It's
that's
like,
what I've tried to. Yeah, what's the best for her? Because what's the best for me?
I feel like that's at a certain point, that's the only thought.
Well, yeah, I agree.
That
Because
really matters,
really,
right?
my life is forfeit now that she's alive. I have completed the one task I wanted to in my life, and that is have a daughter, which I always wanted a daughter. Even when I was a little kid, I wanted a daughter. And I told you how I got a daughter. You think of Harriet Tubman at the moment of conception, and then you have a daughter. And you can say I'm wrong, but I got a daughter out of it. So prove me wrong. And so I knew it was coming, and I said, you got a daughter? Yeah, I get a text. She goes, I'm pregnant. I said, all right, that's fine. So it's probably a girl. She's like, how do you know? I said, I thought about Harriet Tubman when I came. She said, what the fuck is wrong? What the fuck is wrong with you? Said, what if you wanted a boy? And I said, I'd have thought about Frederick Douglass.
Oh my god, I fucking love that.
But if she's happy and I, that's all that matters, and getting her to the next point. I'd like her to have a dad, so I'm not looking to die. But I think you're right. Minimalizing negative orgons or thetans or whatever the fucking people in Scientologists say, minimalizing your thetan level is probably a good idea.
Yeah.
What do you think about them Scientologists?
I don't know, man. There's some pretty shady stuff that you hear about Scientologists.
Was a pedophile.
Huh?
L. Ron Hubbard was a pedophile.
I'm sure.
He was he was arrested for having underage girls on his yacht.
Yeah. He was also a science fiction writer.
He was he was a bad science fiction writer.
Bad science fiction writer.
If they had picked any other science fiction writer, Isaac Asimov had some good shit. Make a religion based on that. You know what I mean? And Harlan Ellison is one of my favorite writers. Is the one who bet him he couldn't start a religion. So you can't start a religion. And so betcha. And then he fucking said, thank you, Harlan Ellison.
And I'll wear a fucking captain's hat while doing it.
Yeah. You think he would touch Tom Cruise if he was alive today inappropriately?
Probably. That probably would have been the requisite.
Do you think that the Scientologists are going to come kill us now? Us and Leah Remini?
No, because they'd have to go after what's his name? Cedric Bixler Zavala.
Oh yeah. I forgot about that guy.
The Mars Volta.
Yeah.
Yeah, dude.
What happened to the Mars Volta? That was a band that existed.
Yeah, they were fucking killer. I think they got back together for something. Maybe. Every
band is getting back together and doing the
at the drive-in, right?
Huh?
The band at the drive-in. That was like pre-Mars Volta.
Oh no, I don't. I'm not familiar.
I'll have to link you some of their stuff. They're really good. They're really good.
It's the same people. It's people from the band.
Yeah, it's Omar Rodriguez Lopez and Cedric, the singer. I think it might be some maybe one or two other people. But,
that's cool. I was never a huge Mars Volta. They were fine, but like I didn't love them.
I have friends who were way more into them.
I had friends that like really were into them, and I couldn't. I don't know why.
But Cedric's wife, I think some Scientology people, they really fucked with her. And one of the people that fucked with her was the guy the pedophile dude or rapist guy that just went to jail. That was on That 70s Show.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
His wife, him and his wife, they were fucking with I think they may have like poisoned their dog or something.
What the fuck? Why would you do that?
Yeah, dude. Yeah, I'll look into that.
People don't fuck around, man. When they want you to stop talking about it, they make you stop talking about it.
Yeah, dude. Like it's some weird stuff.
I would like if other religions got into like the thug business like that. The Catholic Church used to do it, but now they don't do it anymore. But I'd love to see like Russian Orthodox come and break a guy's leg, not coming to Sunday mass. You know what I mean? Like, can you imagine? They didn't take fucking communion, and a bunch of mooks come and bust your head up.
Well, hey, you mentioned Catholicism, and it made me think of the Pope, and it made me think of sorry, this is super random and kind of a bummer, like a little bit of a downer. It made me think of Sinead O'Connor.
Yeah,
you know,
her son, didn't her son just die?
That's what I was going to bring up. Yeah, fucking.
I never forgave her for flipping up that picture of the Pope. Never forgave her because I was bored having to watch that. Talking about the fucking Pope. Dude, this is on your own time, you stupid bitch. Like, get the fuck out of here.
Anyways, her son fucking passing away. That was awful.
Disappointing.
I think
someone told me, and I said, "Who the fuck gives a shit about Sinead O'Connor?" Heard about her in fucking 30 years. Gives a shit. I feel bad that her son passed, but
do you like Massive Attack, right?
Yeah, I like Massive Attack. Massive Attack.
She sings on some of their tracks.
Yeah, it doesn't make me interested in her. She wasn't untalented. It wasn't her talent I was concerned with. It was that I don't give a shit about what she has to say.
Okay.
Much like every other celebrity and their fucking garbage opinions about dumb shit. I don't give a fuck what you have to say. Hey, funny dancing, man. Get back to funny dancing shit. Shut the fuck up. Give a fuck about your goddamn opinions.
Oh boy.
We've been through this, I think, but like people want to give a shit about what celebrities have to say about anything. Don't give a fuck. Then are they doing it for me?
Well, yeah, I mean, who cares that she ripped up the picture of the Pope or anything like that? Has she outspoken about anything else? Or
Lauren Michaels probably cared. Yeah, piece of shit he is too.
Okay.
Didn't a bunch of SNL people just get in trouble for trying to bang underage girls, Horatio Sands and shit like that, got in trouble for trying to groom children? Seriously, that just happened.
I don't know.
It was Horatio Sands and someone else got in trouble for trying to groom some 15-year-old girl.
You always hear a story about that. Like,
why don't you stop? Why don't you just get an adult? You don't have to groom them. Yeah. They're already done.
Skip that whole fucking bullshit.
Yeah, I never liked Horatio Sands was never funny either, so I knew he was a rapist because he wasn't funny. Pretty sure Jimmy Fallon's probably is too, because he's not fucking funny ever. Never laughed at anything Jimmy Fallon has ever done in his entire career. Not once.
That's a couple of things he's done, I think.
You chuckled. You went, huh? That was funny.
Yeah, I still laugh.
He's not funny. No, it's terrible.
Okay. I'm not mad.
Defending Jimmy Fallon, the rapist Jimmy Fallon.
I'm not mad at anybody.
What are you, high? You look high as a goddamn kite.
I am on 300 milligrams of THC, so that's why I'm not mad at anybody.
They've gotten squintier as the show went on.
You turned me off with your anger, okay?
This is the point of the show.
No, you fucking made me scared, man. You got mad, and now I
made you feel little like a
fucking. I had my coffee too.
So I aggressively came at you.
You got really aggressive over Sinead O'Connor's son dying. You made it about Sinead O'Connor. Oh my God.
In this episode, trigger warning, Adam gets frightened by the level of anger that is displayed.
Comedically frightened. I
had to do I'm doing a Takashi Miike month next month on my review thing, and I had to do a bunch of trigger warnings on some of the stuff because I can't. I like to warn people because some people do get genuinely upset when you're talking about like sexual assault and stuff like that. Yeah. Visitor Q, I don't know if you've ever seen it, is just there's incest and there's a lot of shit and there's necrophilia and there's breast milk, like liters and liters of breast milk, and there's just all this stuff. And I'm like, I was like, I warn you, trigger warning for everything. I'm like, I'm not being funny. I'm not trying to make light of anything. I don't know what to say to warn you.
Trigger warnings for these podcasts. Maybe.
Yeah, I think they know what they're getting into. If they got through the first 10 minutes where I fucking said you're gonna suck everybody off to hit the subscribe button, they know what kind of show they're getting into.
I think you're right, man. Well, buddy, I think
that was about a good timing to the 2 hour right about there.
Yeah.
Hold on. Fucking people say I cough too much. I got a fucked up throat. So if you have a problem with me coughing too much, you can go fuck yourself.
Okay.
All right, everybody. Good night and Godspeed.
Thanks a lot, guys. Appreciate you.
Let a flight of
Subscribe,
angels
rate,
sing
like,
thee to
all
thy
that stuff
rest.
that people are supposed to say.